Yeah, like come in with some Omarion because it's freezing in here. But I tell you, it was hot in Golden 1 this weekend with Keegan Murray.
Real hot.
A.K.A. Threegan Flurry.
Come on.
A.K.A. Keegan Murthree.
Okay.
And Key him Murthree.
Yeah, I don't know.
Keep them coming all day long because as we had conversations all this week, really, we literally, and I'm telling you, Chris, a lot of people, they're listening to this show. We are the flagship. Yep. We are the bad boys of the midday. And how about, this is the second time we've had a conversation about a player. Okay, not in any disrespectful way. We just asked, what do we think Keegan Murray's ceiling is? Mm-hmm. And Keegan is in his car. I imagine Keegan to have a nice car. But unassuming, I would imagine a nice unassuming.
Corolla, Acura.
And he's listening, whether it be on the Sacktown Sports app, or whether he might be an old school guy. Right. He's listening on the old 1140, right?
Yeah.
And he hears us talking about his ceiling and what his ceiling could be. And he hears us say, hey, we don't know. He's still young. He can do some things in the league, but a lot of guys are his age or younger and have high ceilings.
Yep.
So what does Keegan Murray do? He drives on over to Golden 1 and says, I got something for you, Alan Stiles.
I was listening to the radio today, and people weren't being very nice.
I got something for you, Chris Watkins. And instead of what's up, Vancouver, he said, what's up, Stiles and Watkins? How you like me now? 47 points. And Chris Watkins, if everybody listened last week, Monday, I had to do the show alone. Chris was coming back from Vegas from that barn burner of a game with the Vikings. That was Chris's.
Yeah.
That was his first NFL game this season, right?
A long time.
So Chris had to wear it all week long. People are coming up to us at the games. Chris, how about that game? I mean, I know I could see it on his face. He was tired of the joke, but it was kind of making me laugh as well. And now Chris goes to Jazz Kings as a fan for the first time this season, and he gets redemption.
Yes.
Redemption. How did it feel to be in the arena?
I felt like I was maybe dreaming because I was like, there's no way this is happening to me right now, especially coming off the back of a 3-0 thriller in Las Vegas. No, I mean, it was nuts. It was great first off, I'm glad I was in the building because, I mean, typically I'll be there, but it was different to be in the crowd. You could feel in the media section, we try and act polite. We're not going to be slapping high fives left and right, but it was cool to be in the real thick of the crowd. You could feel the excitement. You can hear. It took me back to like Jimmer Fredette days for random reasons. Like Kings fans, when Jimmer were playing, would just yell, "Shoot it!" The second he crossed half court, almost as a troll a little bit. But I heard it again on Saturday when every time Keegan touched the ball, everyone just wanted him to put it up. It was an electric environment. It was a great atmosphere. Obviously, Keegan definitely did his thing as well. Like that was just special. It was a special performance, special night. And I'm glad that I was able to be kind of at least a little bit a part of the crowd. But I'm telling you, there was not much cheering from my end. It was just all hands on my head being like, I cannot believe what I'm watching right now. It was insane.
Well, and we'll get into a lot of that game in particular and Keegan Murray and why it was more exciting than some of maybe the other one-offs. We'll talk about random 50 burgers and obviously he had 47, but we've seen random guys get points before. But it's the way that it happens when you're thinking, okay, that's not sustainable. I think the most exciting thing about, and no, the Jazz aren't very good, but I think the most exciting thing about this is that maybe 12 of 13, whatever he was at one point, 11 of 12, maybe that's not sustainable, but all of the looks that he got, those are sustainable.
So tough shots or
no tough shots. There were a couple in the corner,
shots,
right? The ones in the corner, which he's made.
I mean, he wasn't like dribble, step back, hitting just crazy stuff.
Yeah. And we don't have the dribble count because I know Klay Thompson had a separate game where he had the dribble count, but it feels like that dribble count was pretty low. As well, maybe not as low as Klay, but and Keegan, we have sound of Steph Curry reacting. I wanted Keegan to get it, and I gotta say, we'll get your thoughts in more in depth. But how did you feel about Kings fans? I know it was all in good fun, but booing Mike Brown for taking out Keegan Murray, I get it. Don't boo the coach, man.
No.
Fair or foul? You good with that?
I mean, it's probably a little bit foul. It is like that game was over because you're going to be a lot more upset if Keegan Murray gets hurt looking for 50 points for, it's nice to talk about, but, he scored 47 and we're still pretty excited about it. So it really, in the long run, didn't matter. It's fine. No harm, no foul. But it's, of course, I think it's just in general, when you're already in the environment, he's got 40 plus through 3 quarters. It is a little bit of, well, let's just see, like, Dave kind of poked fun 0 for 2 Keegan Murray in the fourth quarter, but it would have been fun to see. All right, like put him in to start the fourth, and then let him see how much he still got. Exactly,
which is weird because you let him cool off, and then the Jazz actually brought it closer.
They did,
so you had to bring him in. So Coach Mike Brown was in a tough spot. Number one, you got to keep everybody healthy.
Yeah.
And we are now talking about Keegan Murray in a completely different way, and this is something that we've been waiting for.
That's crazy.
So we got more on that all day long. Niners also roll as they typically do. Defense gave up more points than maybe we would have thought.
Right.
But the Niners win 45-29, and Brock Purdy continues to pad his MVP status so much that we have people now. We're not going to answer it now, but we have people asking the question, is Brock Purdy the best quarterback in the NFL? Now, don't answer that now.
I will not.
I don't like the tone of your voice, but we have to. It is time that we ask the question. And Emil Fergosa, we will get his thoughts on that at 11 a.m., our Sacktown Sports 49ers Insider. And part of the reason Brock is all but sewn up the MVP. Now, we're going to talk about Lamar Jackson because Lamar, if they beat the Niners, which I don't think they will, but if Lamar beats the Niners, you lose Mitchell, a running back last night. You've already been missing Mark Andrews. So whenever we talk about the Niners, I feel like when we say if healthy is always in more bold than it is for other teams because you have the Chiefs, they're missing Pacheco, and you might as well call it an injury with having Kadarius Toney as one of your wide receivers because he's actually hurting the team at this point. So the Niners, and we know the Eagles have been, Jalen Hurts dealing with injury. And did you see that when they were knocking him on the ground? For the fumble ball protection. So the Niners continue to take care of business. Things can change quickly as the Bills start to heat up a little bit. So things can change quickly, but we will talk Niners as they roll and get ready for that Christmas showdown against the Ravens, which will end their bird tour, I believe. We also have Folsom's own Jake Browning with some audio we will get into as he says, you shouldn't have bleeping cut me. And Jake Browning was feeling himself.
Yep.
And some people might say, be humble. Chris, I think you know me well enough to know, hey, man.
You ain't got no time for humble.
No. Yeah, by the time you're humble, your career might be over, right? You
flex while you can.
Certain people, yes.
Come on.
Jake Browning, you don't know how long your time in the sun is going to be. Shouldn't have cut me. I don't care. What did you say? 4 or 5 years ago? Who cares?
It was a while ago, but
who cares?
It was a nice. I shouldn't say nice. It was pretty difficult for me to deal with that one on Saturday. It was like, Vikings choke, but at least it was the Sacramento legend Jake Browning. True. So there had a lot of conflicting feelings on that one. Then, of course, the Vikings, as he let us know, the Vikings did cut him a couple years ago. So I'm all right with Jake Browning getting his time to shine because at the end of the day, this dude, maybe I can look it up during a break, but this guy literally set pretty much every California state passing record when he was at Folsom. So it does make a whole lot of sense. And it is nice to see, someone who set all of those records in high school have some sort of pro success because, it feels like if you're that good in high school, there should be some sort of translatable skills
you would like
to
NFL
think so. Quarterbacks, right? Especially in the biggest state in the union.
Yeah, no, that's a good
country.
That's a I don't know where we trying to go.
Whoa.
All of a sudden, Chris has a different hat on now. He's got a completely different outfit on. I don't know what's going on. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, we will hear from Steph Curry as he reacts to Keegan Murray's 12 threes. We will also talk about Keegan Murray and what this means for the future of the Kings. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the
triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
Sabonis with the jam over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento
Here's
Kings.
a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article or sensitive personal information about your family? Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Nate Littlefield with us behind the glass, doing a great job. As always, huge week for the Kings. This is what movies are made of. This is what
We're going to
movies.
see Cat, too.
Yeah, which voice are we going to see from Karl Anthony Towns? We have about 4 to choose from.
Right.
So
Guys. We'll have to play that game whenever I don't know if that's going to be on Friday or during the week, but we'll have to play like a Cat voice game.
Unfortunately, it's the back-to-back where it's Friday they have the Suns and then Saturday is the T-Wolves. So Friday we will get into some. Name that Karl Anthony Towns.
Is this rookie Cat? Is this Cat from high school? Is this actually Cat last week?
Right. Is it gaming Cat? Is it just hit a game winner Cat? Which Karl Anthony
podcast Cat?
Podcast Cat? Which Karl Anthony Towns is it? And we know which Keegan Murray it was last night. That was the good one. But before we get to Steph, let's hear from the Sacramento product, Jake Browning, and what he had to say just to the Vikings in general. Well, go watch that as well because he's looking right at the camera.
He like slams his helmet
down. He is so cold and calculated.
Yeah.
He had that in the chamber ready.
Yeah,
and he said, if I pull this off, this was like the Geno Smith, they wrote me off, but I didn't write back.
100%.
Which everyone said, did he just come up with that off the top? No way.
No.
But I don't care. No. Jake Browning, same thing. Should never cut me. This goes into the same conversation as, I have everybody named, everybody that's been drafted before me.
Right.
So Jake Browning, we will continue to play that. Jake Browning, he is a Sacramento legend. So good for him, albeit against Chris's team. Sometimes you got to wear it. Now let's hear from Steph Curry as he's finding out what Keegan Murray did in the 12 threes.
Steph, up in Sacramento tonight, Keegan Murray started 12 of 13 from 3. You've hit what? Yeah, in the first 3 quarters.
So I heard that and I thought, okay, I guess at first for me, you think, all right, well, records are records, right? You get close, it's still a really good game. When I heard Steph kind of react to it, and if you hear more of that piece, he's clearly saying, oh, so Clay's record is safe. It kind of put it back into perspective for me that these guys really do care. And last week we did the Giannis thing about the ball gate and all that stuff.
Right.
And
Keegan got his game ball.
Keegan got his game ball. They made sure.
Can confirm.
Exactly. So I guess with all that being said, did you feel like, man, this was a great thing for Keegan, but I really wanted him to get that record because I didn't, right, especially it being the Warriors and Clay, because I didn't necessarily feel like that until I heard, and we have the longer version we'll play here in a second, until I heard Steph and how much he was sweating it, to be honest.
A little bit. Yeah. I think it would have been cool. Like we said last segment, like it would have been cool just to give Keegan the opportunity to say, like, how far can we take this thing? Again, just like start him at the beginning of the fourth quarter. The game's already kind of wrapped up. If he can hit 2 to 3 more threes, then that's the record. It would have been really cool. I understand why Mike Brown didn't feel like that was priority number one, but it would have been really cool to just kind of hold that over the Warriors as well. It would have felt like a real turning, not changing of the guard, but it would have been another cool moment in which you could say, like, hey, here's this new era of, if you want to say Northern California basketball or whatever, but it would have been a little symbolic as well. The Kings are definitely have always taken from the Warriors, and it would have been cool to kind of, again, it would have been symbolic, I think, of, this is now the Kings' time to kind of try and do whatever, a version of what the Warriors did. Of course, they can't ever replicate what they did, but it would have been really awesome. Yes, I didn't think about it during the time. I honestly was only focused on him breaking the franchise record from Buddy Hield, which was 11 at the time. But I also wasn't aware that Clay hit 14. I knew he had the record. I thought it was like 15 or 16, so I kind of thought it was a little less attainable, but Keegan was there, man. He was 2 right back. There. And then I think, like you said, we're going to play the longer one. I think Steph mentions Clay was like 14 of 21 when he hit it. What, Keegan finished 12 of 15? Yeah. So it's like, if you want to give Keegan 7 more shots, I don't know. I felt like he probably could have done it. But.
Steph says, I guess we'll hear in a second, but he said he's on pace for 18 in that game.
Yes,
at the record.
right. Yeah.
Let's hear from it, Nate.
Keegan Murray started 12 of 13 from 3. You've hit
what?
In the first 3 quarters. You've hit 13 in the game before. It's still going on.
They took him out early. He got hit with it. Clay hypothetically had 18 in Chicago if he would have stayed in the game. And is it still going on?
Well, just how
He's
difficult.
Still at, this is dope. He's still at 12.
I think so.
Pull it up, Anthony. Come on. Yes.
How would you just describe that record, just in terms of its difficulty to achieve? You and Clay have both been up there.
When the team knows you're hot, they're gonna start to shade you away, take your looks away. You gotta sustain that over the course of the game. 12 or 13 is nuts. He's 12
for 14 right now.
He's getting them up. How much time's left? Stay tuned.
Sorry.
No, but it's we'll see. But it's tough because you have to find good looks. Obviously, stay hot the whole game. Clay was wild because he was 14 for like 21 or something like that in 3 quarters. Took me the whole game when I hit 13. Honestly, I'm surprised still that it's still 14 because of how many threes are getting up these days. But it's cool that Clay still got it for now.
There it is. And after I heard that, it just made me feel like I really wanted Keegan. At first I thought, oh, that's cool. Yeah. Because to me, and it goes the same way. It goes the same way in baseball with a no-hitter or whatever. I think as a coach, the balance is, hey, this guy's a really good shooter. We'll have another opportunity. But also, will you?
Right.
Will you? I don't know. I don't know. We don't know.
Especially at that efficiency. It's like, okay, he's clearly like, again, Clay was 14 of 21. He was putting them up.
Yeah.
Keegan was almost just getting to the point where it was like, okay, he's been crazy efficient. He hit 11 straight threes. Again, let's just see what it looks like if we give him 4 or 5 more. He hadn't even gotten to the point where he was just putting up volume. I don't know. I mean, I think every coach has his own philosophy, but me personally, I'm always going to, like you said, you just never know when you're going to have that opportunity again. When you have a chance at history, got to go for it. To me,
you have to
at least give it a try.
Well, and I think that Coach Brown could have got away with it because it wasn't a complete blowout, right? So I'm looking here just to put it in perspective, and I hope this doesn't come off as negative. It's weird because it was outstanding, but you're just so close that you just wanted it. So I'm looking here just to put it in perspective. We know Klay Thompson has a record with 14.
Right.
Klay has scored 12 3-pointers in a game twice.
Wow.
So he's done that twice. He's had 11 once.
Okay.
And he's had 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times.
Wow.
Okay.
Even that I would have guessed would have been higher for 10. Yeah.
Honestly. So because he's getting them up.
Right.
Let's go to Steph Curry. Steph Curry, his most in a game, 13.
Right.
Steph has had 12 in a game once.
Wow.
Steph has had 11 in a game. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, I was
5,
like, that
6,
one might
7, 8, 9, 10 times. And then another 10 times. But
I mean,
he's in rare air.
That's
rare
like once
air.
a year.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, especially after hearing those, it makes me feel like
it's not like they're doing this all the time.
No, it's not. I mean, and those are the two greatest shooters that we have of
Steph
this
has
era.
had 13 once, 12
right.
once.
I think Zach LaVine has a random 11 or 12 in there.
Hey, bring him.
We'll talk about
Splash
him later.
Bros Part 2.
Yeah, yeah, especially hearing that. It's not even. I mean, I'm not upset about Mike Brown. I like I said, I probably wouldn't have booed him for taking him out. I totally understand why. In that moment, it's like, look, De'Aaron's not playing. We already have this, I think they were up 30 to start the fourth. And then, like you said, they eventually kind of made it 20 or 15 or something like that. And then
cooled off.
Check Keegan back in. I understand. It's just, I feel like, I mean, when you're that close to history, I just feel like you gotta, even if it's just Keegan chucking up a couple shots, I just would have liked to say like, at least he was, it's like Christian McCaffrey when they were trying to go for the touchdown record. It's like, the game's already sealed. Just kind of force feed him 3 times at the goal line and just see if he's going to get in. It's not, and then after that, take him out. But at least say, you know what, we gave it a respectable try. But whatever. They got the result.
But hey, like we said, if we think that Keegan Murray is up there with these guys and is on his way, then he will be there again.
Oh, yeah. And that was through 3 quarters.
That was through 3 quarters, right? Just like Steph said, Klay got pulled out as well. Yeah. So this is what happens, right? Klay in Steph's mind, he could have 18, right? So this is what
I know. Yeah, how did he go from 14 to actually hypothetically Klay should have 18?
Well, Steph is probably thinking, he was going to put up about 10 more, so he probably was going to get it somehow, some way. But good on Keegan Murray, continuing to talk about Keegan because, as we've said, there have been some trade conversations, and nobody here at Sacktown Sports is talking about Keegan. The bottom line is when you bring up, and we have some more details about Pascal Siakam and those deals as well. Keegan is by far the Kings' best asset.
Yes.
By far.
Yeah, by a mile.
So what you want to do with that, if you want to just continue on, Monty McNair, here the question is, did this make Monty's job easier or harder? You can look at it both ways. And like we said, and I posted this meme over the weekend, Fat Joe saying, yesterday's price, Nate, we can find that as well. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
It sure is not.
We will be back talking Kings, talking Niners. Were you surprised with what Keegan Murray did? Can he do it again tonight against the Wizards? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The 49ers have secured their playoff berth, and now they chase the NFC's top seed.
Purdy out of the shotgun, looks left, throws end zone. Caught! George Kittle in the back of the end zone. Touchdown! San Francisco!
Check out all the 49ers games with Greg Papa and Tim Ryan
on your home for the playoff-bound 49ers. Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
At Ashton & Price, we get injury victims to yes. Experience, yes. Ashton & Price has been around for over 25 years. No more insurance companies? Yes. Our clients focus on getting better, and we handle all the rest. Results? Yes. We've collected over $100 million for injury victims. No fee until we win? Yes. Our clients pay nothing until we win. Ashton & Price, the best at getting to yes. Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Dell's holiday event is one of their biggest sales of the year. Shop limited time deals on laptops like the stylish, innovative XPS 13, engineered to do it all on the Intel Evo platform. Plus, save big on ultra-sharp monitors and top brand accessories. It's the perfect time to upgrade any home, business, or gaming setup powered by Intel Core processors. Shop now at Dell.com/deals to take advantage of huge savings and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Hey, it's Juice and Mo. Make this Christmas unforgettable by shopping at our friends Sharif Jewelers.
Do you even remember what you thought last Christmas?
No.
Well, you got to make this one memorable.
Okay.
Make sure to go into Sharif Jewelers. You can get diamond studs, tennis bracelets. There's so many classic, timeless pieces that can be worn every single day, available in both lab-grown and natural mined.
In so many different price points. So don't go anywhere else this holiday season. Support a local, family-owned business rooted in Sacramento for 30 years. Sharif Jewelers.
Thunder, feel the thunder.
It ignites something inside of you.
Lightning and the thunder.
Sets alight an elevated state of being. Days are pure exhilaration. And the nights, they're simply electric. See it, hear it, feel it.
Thunder, feel the thunder. Lightning and the thunder.
Thunder Valley Casino Resort. Feel the thunder.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports. We have some news for you. Emil Fergoso will not be joining us. He is battling a little cold, and we wish him the best. Hopefully he can feel better. So we will be joined by the other half of Return of the Empire, Nate Littlefield behind the glass. You will get a free sample, shout out Costco, of Return of the Empire at 11 o'clock, and we will ask Nate all the hard-hitting questions that we were going to ask Emil Fergoso, our Sacktown Sports 49ers insider. So be sure to hang around for that in 30 minutes. 916-339-1140 if you want to talk about Keegan Murray and his Keegan Flurry, or Keegan Murray or Keegan Murr 3.
Any of the above. Keeg him. I like Keeg him.
Somebody came down my road on social media because I said a Murray Flurry, which we talked about.
No, that's totally fine.
Because they said it has been taken by
the Warriors for the Curry Flurry.
Curry Flurry.
Well, no, I mean it's an homage almost to that.
And I responded and I said,
imitations.
Murray. I said Murray Flurry, and I added it.
Like A.
You don't want to step on the toes of Jamal Murray either. What are they saying up there about him?
I don't know.
That one actually makes more sense too, because they're in Denver.
Yeah.
You know, so you actually get some snow flurries.
I've never heard that.
Oh.
Yeah. I've never heard
Flurry.
anyone say Jamal Murray Flurry. So
I'm sure someone had. I'm sure one of our announcers have.
We haven't heard it.
Yeah.
So until we hear
a
it.
tree falls in the woods.
Well, Keegan Murray has Jamal Murray made 11 straight?
Right.
Oh,
facts.
I don't think so.
Yeah. I didn't think so.
I don't think so.
Okay, well then you don't get a flurry.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Now go snowboard or something.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
With your board shorts.
With your board shorts. Hopefully it's not
Go
too.
get out of breath walking upstairs.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's right. Shout out Elevation. Stiles and Watkins.
Shout out long field goals.
Yeah. Shout out field goals. Stiles and Watkins taking up to 2 p.m. as we talk Keegan Murray and the Kings taking down the Jazz 125-104. And something on this show that we tend to do is when the Kings don't take care of business, we get on them. And the fans, the Sack Chat, shout out the Sack Chat.
Huge.
Hanging out as always. And, we're hard on the Kings, I would say. When they don't show up, we let them know. And what I want to do right now is give them their flowers because a little bit today could be another trap game, but we'll talk Wizards coming off a back-to-back. You'd have to really, although it was semi-close in Phoenix, you'd have to really mess up to lose to this Wizards team. It's just, or slip up just like Jordan Poole did on a banana peel last night. So I don't want to give them too many flowers because they got a game tonight before they go on their gauntlet. But on a Saturday night, making sure you take care of business and doing it in fashion to where I don't have any complaints. I don't have any complaints about the Kings. What did you think on top of Keegan Murray with no De'Aaron Fox?
Right.
And you're thinking, hey, Lauri Markkanen, they could mess around and make this a game. What did you think about how the Kings came out and that mentality that they took on Saturday night?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like you said, De'Aaron not being there definitely made it a little bit nerve-wracking. I think, everybody still expected the Kings to take care of business, but you just never know. When you're missing 30 points per game from your lineup, like, that's not easy to replace. And we've seen this Kings team look like a completely different team than the guys that we've seen for a majority of this season when De'Aaron hasn't played. And so, it's gonna be a little sketchy. And for about a quarter and a half there, it was a game. It was like 38-35 or something like that.
Colin Sexton is going to be
a little bit going.
A bulldog.
Yeah, he was doing his thing, being physical, talking a lot of talk.
He cracks me up.
He is really,
if he can
really
shoot.
funny. Yeah. If he could back up his trash talk even just a little bit more.
He can, but you're not going to win with an undersized point guard getting to the rack all game.
Yeah.
At some point, you got to shoot
Colin
a jump
Sexton, as I was watching, I was like, this would be a great backup point guard for him, or for the Kings. I just feel like he doesn't want to be a backup point guard. Like he's the type of dude who will be upset being behind De'Aaron Fox and not understand why De'Aaron's getting minutes over him. But yeah, I mean, it was a close game for about a quarter and a half, and then Keegan Murray happened. So it's a little bit tough to try and evaluate everybody when Keegan is just shining so much brighter than everybody else. But Sabonis had himself a really quiet, spectacular night. He really got things going, and up until the point where Keegan took over, it looked like it was going to be a Domantas Sabonis 30-point game that we might be talking about. He finished with 20, 10, and 8, just kind of typical Domas stuff. Nothing too difficult, but I thought it was good to see him kind of throw Walker Kessler around a little bit there. He used his old-fashioned post moves and just kind of got into his chest a bit, and I thought that was great to see. And of course, I mean, anytime De'Aaron's not playing, you're going to look at Malik, and Malik has to be the guy to step up scoring. Of course, again, Keegan kind of took care of that, but Malik in that fourth quarter got active. Like he had that lob from Sabonis that got everybody jumping, and he got hot. Like Malik is crucial in games without De'Aaron. Even though Keegan had 47, the Jazz still were hanging in, or at least able to make the Kings sweat a little bit. I wouldn't say sweat, but they were able to keep it, make it into a game where the Kings had to close it out. And I thought Malik was a huge part of that. And really Harrison Barnes as well. Like shout out HB who, again,
that's what I was waiting for.
It feels like all the focus was on Keegan, and then Malik has his moments. Sabonis is dominating. Quietly, HB's just hitting threes, got a couple good putbacks in there. I think he finished with 16, which if I had to guess 16. Is near the most. I would guess that's a top 3 scoring performance from HB this season. So, I mean, you really got contributions from everybody that you would want to contribute when De'Aaron's not playing. And of course, our guy Kevin Huerter again, he was okay.
He got to 11.
He got to 11 double figures, which is a lot better than how he's been playing. But he's really the only one that it's like would have liked to see more. But when Keegan's scoring 47, sometimes there's not many threes or other shots available.
I gotta say something, and especially with De'Aaron Fox not playing. Ever since my buddy who is up in Oregon, who is now a friend of the show, texts in, shout out Tyler. Hasn't called in yet, but he's out. He's working hard for his family. He'll text in. He listens to the show ever since he said, man, those hockey assists by Harrison Barnes, maybe you should pay a little bit more attention. And the fact that Harrison Barnes is normally the fifth option, dare I say that for now, I guess I am off of the hate train on Harrison Barnes. Yes, he could be.
Sure.
Give it time.
No, but I was on it when you look. Sometimes the box score just
peaks
looks
and
ridiculous
valleys with him.
But it's not, though. It's really not. You don't really expect any peaks, right?
But when it matters.
I don't think it's a valley.
Okay.
I don't think so. I think it's, what you're going to get, and he doesn't hurt you. He doesn't always help you in a strong way. But I think that for what this team is right now, if you're asking me, can you win with this roster a championship, or this starting lineup, I should say? I don't know. I don't know. But I also don't know if it's directly because of Harrison Barnes.
Right. No, I think I heard Mark Spears say it on these airwaves. I can't remember if it was on the morning show or afternoon show, but he really made a great point, and he said, I didn't know that Harrison Barnes was so important. I thought, this season we were talking about Domantas Sabonis proving he was, worthy of that All-NBA. De'Aaron Fox obviously has carried his weight, but, and this is when Keegan Murray was struggling. I thought Keegan was supposed to be your reliable number 3 scorer. He hasn't been that up to this point, and of course he's now becoming that point, and the Kings are playing a lot better. But it shouldn't be. If you're blaming Harrison Barnes for the reason why the Kings lose on a given night, to your point, really, the game should have never been viewed in his hands. Like, It shouldn't come down to, Harrison Barnes didn't give us 12 points tonight, and that's why we lost. I definitely fall victim, probably more than anybody, to falling into that trap. But no, you're right that, he probably doesn't deserve all of the backlash he gets. I think it is just, it kind of snowballs from, okay, that's the clear and obvious spot where if we are going to add, it's going to be at that spot because he's the weakest link.
No, sure.
To, okay, this guy is garbage, can't give you any value, is just out there just doing cardio. I feel like it just kind of snowballs into that. And it's, of course, as it always is, you're never as good as everyone says you are. You're never as bad as everyone says you are. Feels like Harrison more times than not is just kind of, he's just doing his job out there. And sometimes I think, like your friend Hockey 6, I think sometimes people see the beauty in what Harrison does, but I also do think that there are people, and I'm going to speak to myself here, who say, I think that you can impact the game in more ways than just scoring. And even then, I'm not seeing that level of impact really. If it is there, it's very marginal, and it's not super impactful to the game's results.
Yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is Harrison Barnes is who he is.
Yes, at this point, and we need to meet him where he's at,
right? And
instead of raising expectations.
And if you think that, we can improve on him, sure, go out and get somebody.
Sure,
but as a fifth option, you got 11. 3. If you get those rebounds up to 4 or 5, that'd be nice. Get that 4.5 rebounds. That would be great, right? And the assists, like we said, in this offense, he's just not going to end up with those assists. Real quick before we get to a break, as we know we love talking about pickup basketball here. Have you ever been on a team where it's not a bad team, it's a good team, and you're the fifth option, not because you're trash.
Oh, I've definitely been the fifth option
because your team is pretty darn good.
Sure.
There is a bit of, okay, where do I fit? Is this a good shot? I'm wide open. Is it because I am the fifth option? Do I stink? What's going on here? And I think that Harrison Barnes is always thinking, hey, this is who I am. I know what I'm supposed to bring to this team. So then when he does get the ball, I know the Mike Brown's rule is to shoot, but I would say that there's a little bit of that as a fifth option.
Right. You're always do too much, keep the ball moving. Right? There's always a better option than me.
You've given given somebody who was never very aggressive.
Sure.
And he's now the fifth option.
Right.
So what can we really expect from Harrison Barnes?
Right.
And defensively, I think on this team, he's the upper tier defensively. Not a great defensive team, but you need him right now. All right. Got to get to a break. When we get back, we will hear from Keegan Murray and his thought process on what went down during that historic third quarter. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers brass go all the way this season? Could the Niners win their first Super Bowl since 1995? Join us throughout the season to hear all the games and all the analysis on Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Winter is coming. I know you know that, but are you prepared to keep your family warm all season long? At American Energy Heating and Air, their goal is to exceed your expectations of the heating and air industry by valuing the customer experience and making your home comfort system as efficient as possible for the most value. So book your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. Prevent dangerous gas leaks. Extend the life of that furnace and save on your energy bills. And here's the guarantee. This isn't a sales call. They're not getting in the door so they can try to sell you a bunch of stuff. No, they're just going to do what they say they're going to do. Call today to schedule an appointment at 916-520-9990 or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A-plus Better Business Bureau rating. Get your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. 916-520-9990. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
It's the season of performance event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision-crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health Sacramento can help you address the root causes of weight gain, low energy, poor drive, and performance issues. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, we'll give you a free T-check and free exam at Revive Sacramento. Imagine upping your game, losing weight, and getting in shape all at once. Revive can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. Weight gain and low T are treatable conditions. We know we can help you. Take that first step and book today. You're only one step away from getting in the best shape of your life. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Red Hawk Resort Casino is an entertainment experience like no other. We're the only place where you can play blackjack, then hop on an indoor card track. We're the only place with more than 2,000 of the hottest slots and a state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and a resort hotel to stay after you play. Is it any wonder we've been voted best over 100 times? We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers. And if you've even thought of replacing your old, outdated, inefficient windows, now is the time to take action.
Right now at Bell Brothers, when you buy one window, you'll get the second one for 30% off. That's right. Buy one, get the second one 30% off.
That's real savings, up to $6,000. You have to buy at least 4 windows to qualify, and you can't mix windows and doors. But beyond that, every second window is 30% off.
For example, when you buy 10 windows, you will get 5 windows at 30% off. We also have 0% interest financing available for qualified buyers. Call for details.
To take advantage of our buy one, get one 30% off sale, call Bell Brothers now at 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
Enterprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Shout out to Nate Littlefield, who will be, he's already with us, but joining us in a different capacity at 11 a.m. in about 15 minutes to talk Niners as we talk about Keegan Murray and the Kings, what they did to the Jazz. And we have some sound. By the way, 916-339-1140. If you want to be a part of the conversation, talking Keegan Murray, Keegan Murray 3. Should we even talk about his value, quote unquote, value anymore?
No.
Maybe a little later in the show. We have no choice. This is what we do.
Man's untouchable.
Asking the hard questions.
I'm seeing untouchable everywhere. Is that like a report? Or is that just
no? It's not.
No, it was a report. It was a report.
Yeah,
Anderson. Jason Anderson put it out that Kings sources are telling him that the Kings are not interested in moving on from Keegan Murray, even a little bit.
But what
yesterday's price is not today's price. Can we admit that the Halliburton thing has maybe something to do with this? Are you okay with that?
No, I don't think so.
Why?
I just don't think that it impacts this decision. Are you saying because they are afraid that they'll have two young players out there who could potentially, be greater,
Yeah, that's
be
what
in
I'm
the
saying.
talk
That's
of-
what I'm saying. That timing matters is all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't think so. I still feel like the Kings internally feel like they're fine with the Sabonis deal. So I don't think they would view that as like a negative thing out in the world. I think they're like, whatever, birds are talking, but we're over here winning games. So I think they're fine with it. I don't think they view the Halliburton trade as a loss at all.
I was too busy winning. That's what the Kings did.
I want to get this Anderson tweet word for word here, just so I don't. A league source tells the Sacramento Bee Kings view Keegan Murray as a foundational piece, and they are not including him in trade talks. That was on the 16th. So that was Saturday, actually, hours before Keegan Murray would eventually drop 47. So if he was a foundational piece and they were not including him in trade talks at 2:15 that day, something tells me at 11:15 that night, probably, if anything, that was solidified.
Sounds like he knew. Jason Anderson knew something was going to happen that night.
I'll have to ask him. I'll have to ask him today. It sounds like maybe he watched the game beforehand.
Well, if Keegan is untouchable, I think, and we can get into the Pascal conversation as well, and that timing, if you don't trade him before and what happens to that contract, because that tells me that OG, and because I don't think Masai wants a bunch of picks, right? And we'll get into the report about Lloyd Marketing, how the Jazz, they love their picks, right? So the Jazz might still be a possibility, as well as obviously Zach LaVine. But that tells me that the Kings will not be doing a deal with the Raptors.
I mean, yeah, it definitely probably isn't happening because, like you said, I mean, Masai is definitely going to ask for Keegan Murray in any of those trades for Siakam or for Anunoby, and so yeah, if Keegan's just an absolute non-starter, if you're hanging up the phone every time he's like, hey, but what about Murray? Let's get back to this Murray thing. Then yeah, I just don't think that it's happening because, like you said at the top of the show, Keegan's the Kings' best asset, and really, there's not even a close second. So, if you're going to say, no, not Keegan, but we can throw you Herter, Davion Mitchell, and a couple firsts.
They're just too far apart.
They're going to say, well, no, how about you take off the first and we can just add Keegan or something and we can call it a deal. And then it's just going to be a never-ending cycle. So, yeah, it feels like you've been talking about the Siakam. Siakam has some weird things in his contract where it's like trade him past this date and you can't extend him, trade him before and maybe you could. And so with all of those factors playing in, I just don't think that, it doesn't feel like a Toronto move is in the cards for the Kings, which is kind of what people have been saying for the better part of 6 or so months by now. People have pretty much said, like you said, the value is just not there, or it's not going to match from those two sides.
No, they're not going to be able to get here. Let's hear from Keegan Murray and just his mindset and how he viewed that night.
You almost had 50. you almost had the NBA record for 3-pointers made in a game. Which one did you want more?
What was it? Record free throw or the franchise? Or I mean, I don't know. I didn't really know about it until one of our assistants told me. And at that point, I mean, I got my career high, so I feel like that was good enough for me. I mean, I still have an NBA record right now, but we'll see how long that lasts.
When you're in the moment like that, you're obviously, we always tease you about how stoic you can remain, but obviously there's amusing moments where your teammates look to kind of bring that out of you. But when you're on a heater like that, is it kind of like baseball where you don't want to be messed with, or like how do you feel in those moments?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like in the game. I'm just locked in, and in that moment, guys just kept encouraging me. It was nothing different. If I was missing shots or I wasn't having a good game, they're still doing the same thing. So they weren't treating me any different, and they just said, if you're open, let it fly. If you have a look, let it fly, and that's what I did.
You almost.
Alan, I feel like you were a nightmare for no hitters. If one of your teammates had a no hitter, I feel like there's no way you wouldn't walk up and be like, "Hey, man, like."
No,
playing pretty well.
I actually have a no-hitter story that I will share later in the show.
Did you ruin someone's no-hitter?
I will talk about it later in the show. Don't let me forget.
I'll do
it closer to crosstalk so Whitey can bug me about it. Yeah, but it was. We'll talk about it later in the show. Let's get back to Keegan.
Let's get back to Keegan.
Now
That's
I'm
a great
having
question,
flashbacks
Sean.
here.
That's a great question.
Yeah, so Keegan Murray, we know how he is, and people are saying, I've called him a Klay Thompson variant. If you're just now listening to the show, thank you for listening. If you've been rocking with us, thank you for rocking with us. So this all started. I'm not going to take credit. Chris started. We all have, I use the word disciple. Chris uses the word variant when we talk about players that resemble other players. So Chris has a bunch of Harrison Barnes variants, and I think that Klay Thompson has different variants. And I've said that Keegan Murray reminds me of a variant of Klay Thompson. Sure. Really just a slightly more athletic Klay Thompson.
Taller.
I would say Michael Porter Jr. is freak athlete Klay Thompson. But people aren't talking about Klay when we're discussing Keegan Murray right now. People are talking about the claw. People are talking about Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, with the two-way stuff,
which is crazy.
It's nuts.
I guess it's not crazy to me. But I didn't have that in my path.
Yeah.
And you have conversations last week about what's Keegan's ceiling.
Right.
And people we're not talking about just Joe Schmoes. We're talking about NBA executives saying that they believe that this arc that Keegan can get to could be Kawhi Leonard level. Now, one thing that I haven't seen with Keegan, which I think he'll grow into, he's still so young, is the midi game needs to.
Yeah.
So if you're going to be in the Kawhi discussion, Kawhi's midi game is actually very underrated, I would say. But Kawhi's midi game, his ability to just get you to when you need it. Keegan's not there yet, but again, Keegan is so young that he easily could. But
he keeps working with De'Aaron, he'll get there real quick.
Exactly. In the floater game, he's 23 years old. Are you surprised that people are going past the, Klay Thompson, a more athletic Klay Thompson? Are you surprised that people are going past that and putting Keegan's arc in the same conversation with a Hall of Famer? And at one point, the best player in 2019, Kawhi Leonard was basically known as the best player in the game.
Yeah. Especially two-way. Yeah.
Especially easily
when
two-way.
you factor in two-way, people were like, nobody plays both sides.
Do you see that in Keegan? Or do you think people have a little bit too much dip on their chin?
Yeah, I think that's a bit much. Kawhi has a lot of tools that are just special that allow him to his hands are massive, which allows him to play passing lanes a lot more and just he's also incredibly strong, just like a naturally built guy. And Keegan, I think, is developing his body still, but there's just a natural strength that I'm not sure is there, and physicality as well. But I mean, can he do a version of it, or just a maybe more offensive, maybe a little less physically defensive, but really good. I mean, Keegan's been excellent at just moving his feet and staying in front of guys. So that can be an element of, if you want to throw Klay, that's a lot more Klay than Kawhi, just, guarding other teams' point guards and being able to make life difficult for them. I could see something like that. I could see Keegan being in the conversation of the most elite two-way guys in the league during Keegan's prime, whenever that is, 5 to 6 years down the line. I could see that for him being his peak, but he's still got some work to do for sure. I think physicality is the biggest thing. To me, he's just got to be more dominant. I mean, I think, again, it helps Kawhi a lot to just not have people be able to bump into his chest and have that make them fall back. I think if Keegan can start to deliver a little bit of the physicality, to me, that's where I can see a step maybe going towards that Kawhi direction. But it's crazy. It's crazy that we're even having that conversation because, you know, it's just the leap that he made. Again, last year, the dude was a glorified spot up shooter. Now, not as a negative. He was terrific. Maybe the best we've ever seen, especially at that point in his career. But the putting the ball on the deck, even the last three he hit was like to end the third quarter was a jab step, step back three, and then the defense, and then
he
the
started
defensive
unlocking things throughout the game.
It's crazy. It is crazy how quickly he has developed, and I think that's Luke Laux during the summer league did bring up specifically Kawhi Leonard when comparing him to Keegan, but it was more so about the leap. It wasn't necessarily about Luke Laux wasn't specifically talking about the one-for-one player comparison. It was from year one to year two, Kawhi made this leap that was like from good rookie to, wait, this guy might be one of the best players in the NBA when he's ready. And at the time seemed crazy. Just throwing, like you said, throwing Kawhi Leonard's name in with Keegan sounds crazy. But now that you see a performance like what we had on Saturday, on top of the defensive improvements we've seen all year long, that's when it starts to not be crazy at all. And it is like, yeah, this kid, 47 points as your career high in your second season. That's nuts. And I mean, again, after watching that performance, I just feel like I need to reevaluate everything when it comes to Keegan Murray, because I just didn't think that he was ever going to have this in his bag. I didn't think this would be the set of skills that he brings to the table. And the fact that it's already there, and this is just an improvement over one offseason. I mean, what's going to happen when this dude's 27, 28 years old, and again, starts getting physically stronger than young guys coming into the NBA? It's scary. And that's why it is, if you're Monty McNair, it probably does make sense to at least right here, right now, be like, I think I'm just good with this Keegan Murray guy, and I'm gonna let this rock. Okay?
Yes,
I'm
sometimes you gotta,
where this goes.
You just left Vegas. Sometimes you just gotta let it ride.
Yep.
Somebody gotta let it ride. All right, gotta get to a break. Keegan Murray, by the way, the youngest player in NBA history to make 12 or more threes in a game. Gotta get to a break. When we get back, more Stiles and Watkins, Niners Talk, Kings Talk, Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Shots, rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
I'm Craig Ashton of the injury law firm of Ashton & Price. The winter months bring joy, but also with more rain and snow, unfortunately, more accidents. Over the last quarter century, thousands of Northern California residents have looked to Ashton & Price to be their root op with a law license to guide them through the storm of an injury claim. As always, we wish you and your family the safest and happiest of holidays. But if you need us, at Ashton & Price, we're here for you. So whether you've been naughty or nice, happiest holidays from Ashton & Price.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you target the right audience, build your leads, and crush your quota. Take your business to the next level. Our digital marketing strategies help grow awareness of your product or service, all while building trust in your business. Our approach involves leveraging multiple tools and strategies to deliver exceptional results that are customized to your unique business needs. Don't wait to run out of sales leads. Keep your business growing. Get started with aimyourdigital.com today.
It's Kia's season of giving back at Folsom Lake Kia. Get low year-end prices and payments, plus low finance rates and even zero down deals with approved credit. Shop Folsom Lake Kia right here in Sacramento for over 20 years.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, Sacramento's official home for the San Francisco 49ers.
Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins. Care of yourselves and hydrate. Gotta hydrate. We will be joined in a different capacity by Nate Littlefield at some point during the show. And we're going to talk Niners, and we're going to have Nate put his analyst hat on. Ooh. Okay, he's a man of many hats. I've actually never seen. I've seen you wear a hat once, Nate. Actually,
beanie. I like beanies.
He goes
during the
beanie
winter,
guy.
But hat, I wear it backwards in honor of Brock Purdy.
That's right.
You know,
as you should.
I don't respect the brand or anything or whatever.
No, yeah. I mean, you couldn't be my franchise guy.
No. CMC was wearing that hat backwards all day yesterday.
Yeah,
Well, he's not a quarterback.
We gotta say something about those shirts, though, and I know that
The NFC West
and
ones.
Right, and Dre Greenlaw said, "I'm tired of these shirts." They were bad shirts. Can I say that?
They were ugly.
They were.
It's
terrible.
a lock.
They look
Is
like
it really?
shirts.
That's I think what it said. It's
It's a lock.
And Drew Lock doesn't even play for this.
And look, Chris, I have to look. Christian McCaffrey, he's a solid 6 foot. He was drowning in that shirt. They look like the shirts that you get when you go to a game.
Yeah.
They're all double XL. What's going on there?
You know, there's a lot of big guys in football. Maybe they're thinking they're going to wear them over their pads or something.
Yeah, that's a good call.
I mean, I'm
not
making
great
excuses.
shirts.
Not
I
great
know
shirts.
somebody probably bought them.
Yeah.
So. I actually don't think a lot of Niner fans bought them. They're tired of NFC West.
The hat too, I think said NFC champions on it. Like at least from on TV, that's what it looked like, and not yet.
Not yet.
Like let's
I
chill.
don't think it's it.
What is the appeal of a Niner fan buying a 2023 NFC West champion shirt? Like that commercial.
To burn your
comes on.
money?
Yeah, right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who cares?
How many people do you think actually? Well, actually, I must say. So we're going to our first. You went as a fan for the first time in years. You said and ended up going to the Keegan Murray game. I am going with the wifey Friday to the Suns.
Oh man!
So we were at Arden.
Not going to get Bradley Beal.
We were at Arden but hopefully we get a beam. Yeah. We were at Arden on Friday and we did the picture taking.
Oh, okay.
My daughter
Nice.
cried with Santa. You know, it had to happen. And you know, my wife is like, hey, I got to get a King shirt. So we got a King shirt.
Dude, I tell everyone this. You just media discount at the game.
but when I was in there, well, I didn't think about that. That's a good call. But when I was in there,
30%.
I saw Pacific Division swag. Yeah. And I wondered.
Let's chill on that.
No, I just wondered as a Kings fan, maybe it's a little bit different.
No,
Niner fans win the NFC West all the time.
Right.
Pacific Division, Kings hadn't been in the playoffs in a very long time. I guarantee you there are a lot of Kings fans that bought
this is the
Pacific
third
Division.
Oh, yeah.
Third time, I think, right? Ever in franchise history
Yeah,
last year?
third time and first time since like 03, 04.
It's also kind of a meme, too. So maybe you get it ironically. Like, it's funny, kind of.
First time in 20 years.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
It's like if you're not going to buy, like there's so many people who are like, if the Kings make the playoffs, I'm going to fly from New Jersey back to Sacramento. It's
Right.
like, Yeah, I mean, that's just a different version of it. It's like the Kings make the playoffs first time in 20 years. Yeah, I'm going to get every piece of memorabilia that says
completely
Kings made the
different.
playoffs this year.
Completely
Now,
different.
this year might be a little strange.
That's a
but
good call.
Yeah.
But yeah, completely different to the Niners in that situation. Terrible shirts.
Yes.
Do you even care about an NFC championship, even if they do win the NFC?
I think
no,
yes.
I'm over it.
I think
no,
you still
not
do.
even no.
I
No,
think
no.
you still do.
If you're talking to me, if you're telling me I do, I don't.
No,
I
I'm not
don't.
saying you, but I'm saying
dude.
a lot of people would still.
I feel like
that's
I'm
still
so
an
over it.
That's a big
I don't
accomplishment.
even care about
winning
this
the
MVP
NFC.
thing.
Super Bowl.
Well, we'll get
Superbowl's
into
it.
the MVP thing.
Yeah.
You don't have your analyst hat on yet.
Sorry.
You
I'm
don't have
not
your
even an
beanie
analyst,
on.
dude.
No,
I
you
even
are.
say this
You
on
are.
our
You
show.
are.
You are.
No, I'm a stupid
Congrats.
fan who they gave a show. I don't know why.
Don't sell yourself. Media.
That's exactly what I am.
I don't say the sh word on here. We don't say that word.
Oh, I forgot. You do use other words. You use the word vert a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zonts and verts. All right, we'll talk to Nate a little bit later about more
Am I a
Niner
vert?
stuff.
No.
How tall
Unless
are you
you
going to
wanna
be
be.
for vert?
We'll talk about it later, Nate.
Okay, sorry.
When you have on your analyst hat.
Okay.
Our own Frankie Cardicelli put out this tweet. What was
Franco
it? Yesterday morning or this morning?
Yesterday morning.
So yesterday morning, here you go. Keegan Murray has been a different player since returning from a back injury. First 13 games, 13.2 points, 39% field goal percentage, 28% three-point percentage. And the last 7 games, Keegan Murray is averaging 19.7 on 53% field goal percentage and shooting 50% from three-point range. As we continue to have this conversation, and we were talking about Harrison Barnes earlier and said, hey, the whole reason we have these conversations about trades is because you don't think that this team is good enough. And it's been a while, and we can fire it up. We're definitely going to do beaming or dreaming after this stretch and this gauntlet that the Kings have, so you won't want to miss that next week. And I guess the question becomes, if Keegan is going to take a jump like this, is a trade even necessary? Has it moved you enough to, when I say necessary, not like when we have Kings Roundtable every Wednesday and Brendan Nunez and Frankie Cardicelli say, you can wait it out and think this isn't your year. I'm not talking about it like that. Is it not necessary because you believe that the Kings, if Keegan is not going to drop 47 every day, but continue this rise, they could be legit contenders as presently constructed?
Right. Yeah, I mean, it definitely makes you start to think that it becomes less. And that's why I feel like, to kind of tie in both of those worlds, I feel like if you are going to make moves, if anything, if you do feel this way about, or feel more strongly, because I do think they felt that way about Keegan before. I think it's just we believe it, but we're not. I mean, can we say we're 100% sold on it? No. Right. I think that's where it lends itself more to be like, okay, well, again, maybe if we're having trade talks with the Bulls, maybe we don't need to have a Zach LaVine conversation, but we can have Alex Caruso, Patrick Williams conversations, Kobe White conversations. Like maybe you say, let's give Keegan a little bit more time to kind of establish himself in that 3 role. And maybe we try because we still do have some work around the edges that needs to be done as well. Backup center, backup point guard, maybe another forward piece. There's still some other things that you can add and tinker with before you go out and make that move. So yeah, I mean, I feel like after that performance, especially, it's like, I think this kid just definitely bought himself. I mean, not that, he was on a race or on track to get replaced, but I think he definitely bought himself some time in terms of, all right, let's see if he can be the consistent number 3. Because it's okay to do it, nights, once a week or once every other week. But, realistically, especially when you're talking about being the 3rd option, be nice if they can get some consistency there so they can kind of rely. I mean, I would say Malik has pretty consistently been this team's 2nd or 3rd option. If Keegan can kind of slide into maybe where Malik has really excelled so far through points in this season, I think that could definitely help them kind of get out of these deep trade trade rumors, I should say, not trade.
Yeah, talks. And the question, well,
because the Kings are attached to everybody,
right? And what it could be, how much more of a rope does Keegan get? Now, the rope continues to get longer. That's why I think this stretch is really important.
Right.
That's why, dare I say, I think this week is incredibly important for Keegan. This game, I don't know that De'Aaron will be back yet, but regardless, you can't disappear. Right, you can't go iceberg.
Yeah,
right,
we like to call those Willie Cauley-Steins, where you get 10 rebounds one game and then you get 0 the next, and it's like he's averaging 5 rebounds a game.
If you think about who they have coming up this week, okay, and you're going to get De'Aaron. I would assume you're going to get De'Aaron back at some point.
Right.
You get the Celtics, and you get Keegan doing something against the Celtics, and then the
some
Suns,
real competition, some scalable competition,
and then the Timberwolves again. I mean. I love talking about optics, and I think that they really do matter. And this could change the course of how Keegan is viewed. Keegan was the guy to where you have your national, a lot of these guys, these analysts, they're not watching the Kings every day. No. So they hit a lot of the same points. Yeah, if Keegan Murray can be that third option, and they all say the same thing.
They do.
This is where, I'm actually going to pay attention to this guy.
Yeah.
This guy is going to be talked about in all these player podcasts and things like that. This is a huge week for the Kings in general, and because it's huge for the Kings, it's huge for Keegan Murray. I do have a quick story when you talk about doing something, and I have a list that we're going to read through the most random 50-point games in the NBA. But freshman year, baseball, right, at De La Salle, there was a guy who, it was a doubleheader, and throughout the doubleheader, he hit 2 home runs in one game, and he hit 1 home run in the next game. And he was, he was a starter. We were starting, and sure, he was a good player, but he hit 3 home runs throughout the course of 2 games of doubleheader, right. And the varsity coach happened to be there, and it changed the trajectory of his career. Right. And ever since that, we were all waiting for him. He had a good career we know he's got it. We know he can do it. So it's funny when things like that happen, there is a rope that you have, but you cannot fall off a cliff.
Right.
And I don't think Keegan will fall off a cliff at all. But I am very interested to see how he now reacts to this. Sure. That first shot that he takes tonight, everybody's going to be holding their breath. And I am praying that it goes in because I think
he's going to set the roof off if it does.
You've never been in this situation before. No. So how can Keegan, and I think that's why being even keel, although it might not make for the craziest sound bites, is really good.
Never too high, never too low.
Exactly, as a professional. So we will get into this when we get back, because this is a pretty funny list, and the reason we want to do it is because when something like this happens, it's really, as much as it's about it happening, it's also about what happens next. Right,
100%.
All right, got to get to a break. We'll be right back. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
Have you Googled yourself lately? Are there negative posts from an ex-employee or from a former client? Maybe an outdated news article, or sensitive personal information about your family. Search engines don't always get it right. For right or wrong, it's your reputation on the line. That's where Reputation Defender by Norton comes in. One of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. Reputation Defender has been fixing people's search results for over 15 years. Their cutting-edge approaches help you to wipe away unwanted information in your search results. They also promote the good stuff, so that it rises to the top, helping you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. Take control with Reputation Defender. You can start by getting your free reputation report card at reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 to speak to an expert. That's 800-401-6681.
Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m., 916-339-1140. If you want to be a part of the conversation, the Sack Chat is having a ball, as always. Shout out to the YouTube chat. And if you're driving and you are about to be home, you can fire us up on the Sacktown Sports app, or you can hop in to YouTube and be a part of the Sack Chat as well. So Keegan Murray and what he did is outstanding. And I do think it's a really important piece to, obviously that 47 is going to balloon his average, bringing him to 19.7 points a game the last 7 games. But it's not as if Keegan had been playing poorly and then balled out. He had been playing well. He just took it to another level. And I think that's really important and an important piece of this, because there have been some one-offs. And I'm going to go through and no, he didn't have a 50 burger, but he would have. If Steph can say Clay would have had 18 threes, then we can say that Keegan spiritually had a 50 burger. And when you now evaluate Keegan, I want to read this list thinking, okay, where these people were in their careers and how much we should change our outlook on Keegan because of what he did. Right. Because there are some people that just get hot. Yeah. Right. I gave the example before the break. My guy hit 3 home runs in two games, and I don't think he ever did it again.
Yeah. No, I don't mean to step on your list, but I know like Corey Brewer has a 50 point.
In here.
I know Tony Delk has a 50. Like they're these guys are NBA basketball professionals, and you give them a couple shots to go in, anything can happen on a given night with these guys.
So this is from Bleacher Report, and I'm sure there have been more since, but this is from Bleacher Report in 2020. Okay. Right. So here are they call it the top 10 most surprising 50-point games in NBA history.
Well, number one, the fact that there's been 10 unlikely 50-point games is, kind of does. It does sour it just a little bit,
but it's the way it happened.
No, for sure.
And where these guys were in their careers. We know, Keegan, I believe, was, I would assume, youngest to 47 or close up.
Probably maybe earliest in his caer. I think I did see, no, that was threes. Kobe, he's like the youngest to have 12 threes in a game since Kobe.
Yeah. Well, he was the youngest. No, I just read that. I was talking about the scoring points, in total, but Keegan Murray is the youngest
he is.
To have 12 threes in an NBA game.
Gotcha.
He's got that crown. Okay, that is a record. Okay, so number 10, Mo Williams.
Ooh, shout out Mo Williams. Wow.
Mo Williams.
Is that in Cleveland?
That was
yikes.
He was with the Timberwolves. And dropped it on the Pacers in 2015.
I didn't even remember Mo Williams played for the Timberwolves.
He actually
in 2015 is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Shout out Mo Williams, who was supposed to be the second piece to LeBron's championship.
That mark stood as a franchise record until Karl Anthony Towns 56 in 2018.
Wow.
I don't even know. 56?
56 is nuts. That's the most DeMarcus ever got in a game, too. That's crazy. And Cat was probably really young when that happened, too. That's nuts.
Yeah, he would have had to be. Okay, next.
Definitely pre-Anthony Edwards.
You have Vernon Maxwell.
Sure. Shout out Vernon Maxwell.
Vernon Maxwell in 1991.
Yeah, Houston.
Okay, next you have Karis LeVert, which I think we all randomly knew.
Yeah, that's super random. I forgot about that 50 piece, though. Yeah.
Yeah, Karis LeVert with a 50 piece. And
that tracks for him.
And what happens is, there are certain people to where they'll drop it, and then what do people say? No, people don't understand. He been like that,
right?
And then he never really
because he doesn't do it again. Yeah.
Well, our guy just a couple days ago, as the Kings took him down, right? And I'm thinking, what exactly is it that you do here?
Cam Thomas.
I was going to say 41.
He is. I'm honestly surprised Cam Thomas hasn't had a 50-point game.
Oh, he will.
He's primed for it. He's primed for that Karis LeVert, where it's like you said. Oh, actually, Cam Thomas been doing this in summer league for y'all who aren't paying attention.
Basically, there's always going to be a random Nets player who's just putting up shots and is going to get a 50 burger at some point. Okay, next, Andre Miller.
There's no way that man scored 50.
Andre Miller did it with the Blazers. In 2010.
It's not even a score.
In 2010, 22 of 31 from the field against the Dallas Mavericks.
That's crazy. I remember Andre Miller when he was with the Kings. He was like 39 at that point. But to think that he ever scored 50 in a game doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't.
Like his game, even when he was like 32, he was playing like an old man at the Y. Which is great. His game is awesome, but 50 points I would not expect.
Taking it back to the 70s, number 6 on the list, Walt Wesley.
Sure. Why not?
1971.
Nothing on
Walt
our boy
Wesley
Walter.
came out of nowhere to score 50
sure did.
points against the Cincinnati Royals.
Oh,
that was
you
Walt
hate
Wesley.
to see it.
There
You
you
hate
go.
to see it.
Number 5. This is another one I think everybody remembers. Terrence Ross.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. I forgot. And Terrence Ross is another one, much like Karis LeVert, where it's like, hey man,
Oh no, y'all
put
don't.
up buckets.
Real
Yeah.
hoopers know.
Come
Real
on.
hoopers know that Terrence Ross can put up 50. Number 4, you have Willie Burton.
Yeah,
Willie
that's
Burton.
definitely a surprise for sure.
Yep, 53-point game from Willie Burton. He only has one other game over 30.
Okay.
There you go, Willie
That's
Burton.
one more than I would have guessed.
There you go. Number 3, Tracy Murray, not Tracy McGrady.
And not
Tracy
related to
Murray.
Keegan?
Prior to the 1997-98 season, Tracy Murray had averaged 9.4 points. The most shots he'd hit in a game was 15. The most free throws he'd hit was 8. On February 1998, he topped both marks on the way to 50 on 18 of 29 shooting against the Golden State Warriors.
Ooh.
And he may have exercised a demon along the way. Number 2, Tony Delk.
A little extreme.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, Bleacher Report.
Exercise a demon along the
Number
way.
2,
Excuse me.
Tony Delk.
Hey, and that was against the Kings, if I'm not mistaken. Or
Yes, it was.
against
He
the
was
Kings.
he was on the Suns on December 23rd, 2000. Tony Delk scored 26 points against the Denver Nuggets. Oh no, the Denver Nuggets.
Oh, was he?
Oh
on
no,
the
no, no.
Kings?
Against it tied a career high.
There we go.
Just over a week later in 2001, January 2nd, he went 20 of 27 from the field on his way to 53 points.
That one hurts. There's still some horror stories out there. If you ask G-Man and you ask Jason Ross about like, hey, do you guys remember that Tony Delk 50-point game? Both of them, I've heard just a collective sigh of like, yeah, that was a game, and that was when the Kings were honestly pretty good too, and it was just like, how did this random short point guard just come in here and score 50 plus?
So it gets even better. It gets even better. This is how they end it. As you might suspect, most of the rest of this list makes up big men. Tony Delk stands just 6'1", and that list is Delk didn't hit a single three-pointer in that game, making him one of 34 players in the three-point era to score 50 without hitting a three-point shot.
You know how many shots you got to put up? It must have been Tony Delk and the Milk Boys or something. Like,
Yeah.
what is going on? That's you have to.
Well, it said he
took
went
like
20
40
for
shots.
he went 20 for 27.
That efficiency is actually crazy too, and he didn't take a single three. Oh, come on!
He never
That's
topped
ridiculous.
30 again in his career.
Yeah, that's about right.
And the
that's
20 shots he made
that's
almost
Kangs.
doubled any other performance from his career.
Great, love that. That is some really, like, even when the Kings were good, they still showed that in their DNA.
This is actually not the
just-
right mojo for tonight's game
It's
against the lowly Wizards.
Nah, it's fine. It's fine. The Kings will be fine.
Don't call us.
They'll be fine.
Oh, yeah, they'll
Who's
be
number
fine.
one on the list?
Number 1, Corey Brewer.
Oh, yeah.
Corey Brewer had
Kings
played
legend.
6 seasons in the NBA before he returned to Minnesota
Wild.
for the 13-14 season. His career average was 9.5 points on
more than I would've
46% or 41.6% shooting. And his career three-point percentage was 29.8. On April 11th, 2014, he had an out-of-body experience
He did. He sure
on the
did.
way to 51 points on 19 of 30 shooting from the field and 11 of 15 shooting from the free throw line. Prior to that game, Brewer's career highs for points and field goals and free throws were 29, 12, and 10.
Yeesh.
Yeah. After the game, LeBron James was asked about the performance per Tom Habistro. LeBron, hear about that Corey Brewer? Nah. He scored he scored 51 tonight. Wait, who? LeBron James, which actually and that's number 1 on the list,
Yeah.
Corey Brewer, which reminds
we got
me,
a much better reaction out of Steph, at least.
yes, which reminds me of this weekend with Kevin Durant coming at Grimes saying we can't let who is this?
Quentin Grimes.
Quentin Grimes.
We can't let him get 11 or
We
whatever.
can't let him get 11. So that's pretty funny, this list, and I'm sure there are a bunch of other random ones. I mean, if you were to ask people, hey, has Karl Anthony Towns scored 50? A lot of people would probably say no.
Yeah.
I think when you read this and you see the randomness, I actually feel better about what Keegan Murray did because everything he did it didn't look random.
Right.
It didn't look
those
it
are
didn't look like
those are
Tony
spectacular
Delk.
nights.
Right,
Yeah, those
right.
are, oh my gosh, tonight I'm feeling it. It is my night.
Yes. Yes, and
Keegan
that
was,
is why,
for the most part, in the flow.
Could you make the argument, which is very similar to the Klay Thompsons and the Steph Currys when the game is out of hand, could you make the argument that Mike Brown even thought that and said, hey, I'm not going to force anything here because, and Mike Brown, I've been, the post-game press conference, he says, this is one of the best shooters I've ever coached.
Yeah.
And we know the laundry list of elite shooters that Coach Mike Brown has been around. So maybe it's, hey, I'm going to take him out as a way to show him and show the team and show the organization, you'll be back. Yeah. This isn't we have to get everything we can. We got to milk it because
a special night.
Who knows when you'll be back? No, Keegan.
Sure.
I'm not going to force anything and put the team in a bad situation on some stupidity for a record. Number one, because I'm a good coach. I'm the reigning coach of the year. And number two, because I think you'll be back.
I love it.
It still burns.
If that's true,
it still burns.
Whatever the reason was, I've loved it. I thought, I definitely think it was in the flow of everything. It felt very, I wouldn't say repeatable because, he was clearly on a heater, but it definitely didn't feel like at any point he was pressing. It wasn't like Keegan was bringing the ball down the floor and calling for ISOs and sticking it in dudes' faces. It was just, and also, I don't know if we have time to talk. No need, but it's Utah. Also, what were y'all doing?
Yeah,
because they were just leaving him, and at some point, it's like, you want to double this guy? Like, I'm loving this show. It's great. But
it was
y'all maybe want to put more attention towards this guy.
I don't know. Maybe it's because when you think about doubling, it's a guy who's going to dance and create more off the dribble. Keegan's beginning to do that. I don't know, because he's a spot-up shooter. Maybe you didn't feel
maybe
like
it's
enough
the
time.
Kings have so many weapons.
Maybe the Jazz are just trash. I don't know. I think it's D, all of the above. That's what I always pick on Scantron anyway. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, have your expectations for the Kings changed? Is tonight a huge night, even though it's just against the Wizards? We'll explain why. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down in a heartbeat. So remember to be a little more alert on the road and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides 24/7 compassionate support and connection to trained counselors. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, just call, text, or chat 988.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Discover your dream home at Subcontractors United, your source for all home improvement needs. A talented team of home services experts is ready to make your projects a breeze. No more endless internet searches. Find your contractors in one place. Enjoy stress-free service absolutely free, with no hidden costs and no account to set up. Transform your living space into something extraordinary. Visit Subcontractors United today and experience the joy of hassle-free home improvement. Dream big at subcontractorsunited.com.
Hey, it's Juice and Mo. Make this Christmas unforgettable by shopping at our friends Sharif Jewelers.
Do you even remember what you thought last Christmas?
No.
Well, you got to make this one memorable.
Okay.
Make sure to go into Sharif Jewelers. You can get diamond studs, tennis bracelets. There's so many classic, timeless pieces that can be worn every single day, available in both lab-grown and natural mined.
In so many different price points. So don't go anywhere else this holiday season. Support a local, family-owned business rooted in Sacramento for 30 years. Sharif Jewelers.
Who has the largest selection of golf merchandise in Northern California? The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. It's the go-to store for golf bags, apparel, equipment, lessons, club fittings, novelty items, and more. With their low price guarantee, complimentary gift boxes, and gift cards for your golfer, it's the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Add convenient online shopping and effortless after-Christmas return policy, and you'll see why the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the #1 choice for golfers everywhere. Fulton Avenue at the Cap City Freeway or online at hagenoaks.com.
Winter is coming. I know you know that, but are you prepared to keep your family warm all season long? At American Energy Heating and Air, their goal is to exceed your expectations of the heating and air industry by valuing the customer experience and making your home comfort system as efficient as possible for the most value. So book your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. Prevent dangerous gas leaks. Extend the life of that furnace and save on your energy bills. And here's the guarantee. This isn't a sales call. They're not getting in the door so they can try to sell you a bunch of stuff. No, they're just going to do what they say they're going to do. Call today to schedule an appointment at 916-520-9990 or go to AmericanEnergyAir.com. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Get your $49 furnace tune-up and safety inspection today. 916-520-9990. American Energy, making the uncomfortable comfortable.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Nate Littlefield behind the glass, doing a great job for us as always as we get you ready for Kings, Wizards, and Jordan Poole, the Jacuzzi, Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma, you still interested? Wasn't he a January? Because he was signed.
Yes, yeah, he was just signed this offseason. I would say I've got some intrigue in Kyle Kuzma. During the summer, I was a little off it. I felt like he was going to make 25 plus million. I think he ended up making 23 averaged. It's fine. It's splitting hairs, but not bad. After seeing, as we were talking earlier about not bashing on Harrison Barnes, after watching what HB has brought this season, I do wonder, if you just, swap one for the other, if the Kings maybe are more aggressive on Kuzma and let Harrison walk, what does it look like? Would it have worked out? It makes me kind of feel like, maybe if you're looking at a possible missed opportunity, maybe it's a slight missed opportunity, but it's nothing to lose sleep over. But it's definitely something that's, you got to think, maybe that would have been, would have been worth the risk. Cause I do think it would have been a slight risk, but seeing him offensively this year, I mean, and who knows what he would have looked like in this offense, but he just got a lot of tools that make it feel like, I would like to see what this looks like in a winning environment.
Do you guys think the Wizards should be this bad?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I mean, when Jordan Poole is your best, like Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma are the guys that you're relying on, and you have Trey Jones you have Tyus Jones as your point guard, who's, I think everybody says they love as like an elite backup point guard, but when he's your starting point guard, you have a bottom 5 starting point guard in the NBA. Yeah, I mean, they're now, should they have 3 wins? Probably a little bit more.
4.
Oh, they have 4 now. Okay, good on y'all. But no, I mean, it feels like they should definitely be one of the worst teams in the NBA for sure.
So, not to sleep on anybody, we don't know if De'Aaron Fox, hopefully we will have that more of a confirmation for you as we get closer to the end of the show and more so closer to the beginning of the drive, guys.
By the way, sorry, the Wizards are also allowing by far the most points to their opponents. 126 points per game is what they allow opponents. 126 points per game. Yes.
So the Wizards
are pretty much like if every single night the opposing team played like the Kings did last year offensively, pretty much, and then some.
To answer Nate's question, I'm actually going to disagree with you. I don't think they should be this bad. I don't think they should be this bad. And, you have a team here 4-21. The East is better, but it's not the West, okay? And
to your point, should they be worse than the Hornets? Like, they should probably be near the Hornets.
No,
right?
and you look here, it's just, and I saw a clip yesterday of Jordan Poole. They were down 4. I think that's how the game ended, and he took a random 3 down 4 with, I don't know, it was about 30 seconds left. It banks off. It was, Chris, it was one of the most ridiculous shots I've ever seen. And I say all that to say, to not sleep. Obviously, the Suns are missing Bradley Beal, but the Suns, it was a close game. The Suns won 112 to 108. So you sleepwalk, you don't want to be that team that gets embarrassed. And this, I gotta say, out of all of the gotta have games, this is a must win in a different way.
Yeah.
Not because the Kings are struggling or anything like that. But you have a team that is 4-21, coming off a traveling back-to-back.
Right.
And you're chilling at home during a homestand.
After a high on Saturday.
You have to win this basketball game. You have to. You have to.
No excuses, really.
And we have Deuce Mason, who's been doing a great job, as always, in all the different platforms he's on. He tweeted, if the Kings win tonight, it'll be their best 25-game start to a season since 04-05.
I mean, and that's crazy. If the Kings do, I mean, again, they should win tonight, but if for them to have, De'Aaron now out for how many games has it been total? I mean, 6 games or whatever this season already. And for them to have that as their record, I mean, if they can have the best record in 20 years and go through the adversity and the ups and downs, and Keegan looking bad for 13 games and then good, and Kevin Huerter being up and down, and Harrison Barnes, we want more out of him. If we feel like we can still go to another level just with this collection of guys, and they're producing wins at that rate and at a pretty tough schedule, how many times have we mentioned the Wizards tonight will be the 3rd Eastern Conference team the Kings have played this year?
Yeah.
For them to have that record, that level of success against really tough and quality opponents, and then you put up the wins that they have this season, again, wins over pretty much all of the top 6 seeds, that's crazy. That's really crazy, and again, makes me think, we like you said, we've been tough on this team when it feels like they've needed to be, needed a little bit of a jabbing. I don't know. Like when you see something like that, it is like, this you can't forget that this team is incredibly successful. Like, forget all of the ups and downs and the nights that look terrible and the blowouts by 15 and 20. There's a heartbeat of a really, really good basketball team.
Got the bones.
It's got the bones. It's got the structure. It's got the foundation.
It's got good bones.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm saying we sit here and have all these conversations about trades. Are we underselling what this team can do? Because they have a belief. Possibly. So if you're going to say, especially with Keegan coming off of doing what he did, okay, so the Raptors want Keegan, and the Jazz for Laurie want 18,000 first-round picks, and Zach LaVine cost $46 million a year, which is only going to go up.
Right.
And you're telling me that the biggest issue we have is getting Harrison Barnes engaged? Right. And when you need Harrison Barnes, when De'Aaron doesn't play, a lot of times he does show up for you.
Yeah.
And you're in the middle of the ascension of Keegan Murray and a Keegan Fleury and a Threegan Murray.
Yeah.
Don't force things. My uncle says, he's in Panama right now, haste make waste. Don't force things if you don't have to. I got to read this. We got to get to break. Nate's giving me the Dame Lillard, or should I say the Tyrese Halliburton?
No, you shouldn't. You should not say that.
These are some of the scores from the Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
The Wizards lost to the Sixers, right? They lost to the Sixers by 5 December 6th, 131 to 126.
Okay.
They lost to the Nets next game, 97 to 124.
Okay.
They lost to the Sixers a couple days later, 146 to 101. 146 to 101.
Yeah.
After that, they lost to the Pelicans 142 to 122. After that, they beat the Pacers actually on the 15th, 137-123. And as we mentioned, they hung around with the Suns 112-108. So that would tell me, based on just reading that, they're due for another blowout.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking
they
at
don't
it
play
now.
well. They played well for the last 2 games. They are not going to play well again.
It's a good way of looking at it.
Keegan Murray might have. I mean, Keegan Murray might get that 50 burger tonight.
No, I mean, I'm looking at it. The Wizards have allowed over 140 points 5 times already this season. And the Kings are an elite. And I'm looking at the teams that they allowed them to. The Pelicans scored 142. You mentioned Sixers scored 146. They allowed 142 to the Bucks, 146 again to the Sixers, and then 143 to the Pacers. The Kings are at the offensive level of all those teams. To me, tonight isn't even about the offense. It's about the defense, because I'm looking at some of these scores, even with these high point totals. Like, they lost to the Sixers 131-126, lost to the Magic 130-125. They still are putting up points. They lost to the Bucks 131-128. You can't get lost in the offense. You do have to still at the other end defend. And this is where you might see the Kings' worst enemy sneaking his head around. This morning, they did the 3 in the key and said who's going to be the Wizards' top scorer. All 3, Vlad, Carmichael Dave, and Jason Ross, all said Kyle Kuzma. If the Kings don't really have a guy. Again, they don't really have a guy that matches the size of Kuzma. Don't let that fool go crazy tonight, because, again, the Wizards are a capable offensive scoring team. We know the only thing Jordan Poole can do is light it up on a given night. Don't let that fool start feeling himself. The offense will come. The Kings' offense, I'm really not concerned, especially if De'Aaron's playing tonight. You can't forget about the defensive side of the ball, and you can't let those Wizard shooters who can get hot, don't let them get hot, and don't let them start feeling themselves, because they will put up buckets, and they can put it up just as well as you can. And it's just a matter of slowing them down, which, again, I don't think the Wizards run some high level, lots of cuts offense. It's going to be just don't let those guys get in rhythm and don't fall in love with 3-point shots.
If you're going to the game tonight, I would say it will be entertaining.
It'll definitely be
in some capacity. You'll either be laughing, crying, or cheering. So I think it'll be a good test for the Kings to just stay the course, and to not, especially if De'Aaron doesn't play, stay the course. Don't look too far ahead, because the gauntlet's coming up. So I think it's a great test for the Kings. When we get back, another Bay Area guy coming to Sacramento. JTA is now on the Kings. We talk JTA,
Viva.
And a little bit later in the show, we will be talking Niners. And I'm going to talk Jordan Poole. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Hello, Sacramento. I'm Emran Pilati, owner of True Sports Cards and Collectible Store here in Rockland, California, and the host of the True Sports Cards Show that airs right here on Sacktown Sports 1140 every Saturday from 10 to 11 a.m., where we discuss the latest trends, hottest products, and deliver exclusive interviews with other industry leaders. And don't forget to visit our shop, True Sports Cards, at 6661 Stanford Ranch Road in Rockland, and see what we have for all your sports card and memorabilia needs.
Hey, DC comic movie fans, the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento is playing Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, the IMAX experience, for a limited time.
I'm gonna murder his family and burn his kingdom to ash.
It's my son! Experience this year's superhero film of the year on the Esquire IMAX 6-story screen. Getting tickets is easy. Visit IMAX.com/Sacramento for showtimes and reserved seating. And don't miss Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom at the Esquire IMAX Theater this week.
Carmichael Dave here for Jiffy Lube, your proud sponsor of the Drive of the Game. Now listen to every Kings game for Gary Gerald's Drive of the Game call. Then listen to Jason and myself the next morning for a chance to win a $100 Jiffy Lube certificate, courtesy of all the Jiffy Lube locations in the greater Sacramento area. Get your vehicle ready for the holiday driving season at Jiffy Lube today. Oil changes, wiper blades, tire rotations, and more. For more information, go to jiffylube.com.
For a business to thrive, there needs to be a constant stream of new customers. This happens through strong lead generation. Did you know that lead generation is one of the most important tools of any marketing campaign? Let us help you identify your target audience and market your products and services to them. To get started today, contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results today.
At Jim Boy's Tacos, you get a ho lot of flavor for under $10. Our classic #2 combo meal spreads cheer with a farm-dusted ground beef taco, scratch-made bean and cheese burrito, and a soft drink. So jingle on down to Jim Boy's or order online at participating locations.
Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins. Sacktown Sports taking up to 2 p.m. We'll be joined by Nate Littlefield around 1 o'clock in his Brock Purdy jersey. I asked Nate when he got the jersey.
It looks fresh.
His mother got it for him last season, so she believed, she knew, just like every other Niner fan.
She actually bought that for him during training camp.
During training camp when he was still 18th string.
No, she bought this pre-draft. He was still in college.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people just know. They just know. So shout out to Nate's jersey.
What's up with clowning people for buying jerseys if
Excuse
like
me?
new? What's up with that? Like
it's just like a oh wow, you must be a new fan because that's a really fresh out the box jersey.
I guess, yeah.
It's, because typically, there's I wear my jersey every Sunday and it's got my nacho stains and
it's literally,
I almost said victory stains, but that sounds a little different. So.
Yeah, no, I'm just not a big jersey guy in general.
There's a lot of jersey, not shaming, but jersey culture has definitely fallen off a cliff in general. Just in terms of back in the day, in the early 2000s, I say back in the day, you'd see music videos, people be wearing the football jersey. Football jerseys are done as a wearing out in the wild. Mm-hmm. If you're not going to a football game, it's not a fashion sense at all.
Oh no, that's
you
done.
can at least get away with a jersey at a music festival.
Music festival.
Clothing has tightened up though, and jerseys are not fitted to your body. I'm wearing a sweatshirt under this. I think that might have to do with it somewhat.
Trust me, they were not wearing jerseys that fit back in the day.
They were too big.
They were massive.
That's what I mean.
Oh, you're
Clothes
saying they're
fit more
too
now,
form-fitting now, the jerseys?
No. I'm saying jerseys now are still big like that, but style overall has changed to where
pants are tighter, shirts are tighter. The slim fit era kind of ruined jerseys.
That picture of the 03 NBA draft where everyone's got the biggest suit on versus whatever 2018,
right?
Yeah, I had a generic Stanford football jersey, and I would wear a hoodie under it. Just random. It was not great fashion.
What's your no hitter story?
Okay,
come on.
Yeah.
What is that?
Yeah,
I'm dying.
I'll get to the no hitter story
right now.
After we hear 916-339-1140 from the text line, we gotta hold on, Nate. That's a after 1 o'clock story. All right. The people want to hear about the Regan Fleur.
You guys are too structured. I think we just go crazy.
I'm sure you would like.
I think you opened the show with your no hitter.
That's not what
a couple hours on it.
I will get to the no hitter before the show is over.
And it wasn't
the sack chat can hold me to that. You can hold me to that. I will.
Got
I
it
will
in the
get to that
rundown
story.
now.
No,
official.
We don't need to have it there. From the 530, hey Stiles and Watkins, regarding the Kawhi Keegan comparisons, Keegan now has a higher career high than Kawhi. Kawhi's career high is 45. Keegs is 47. Keegan is the superior offensive player when comparing year 2 Kawhi versus year 2 Keegan. That's interesting.
Yeah, I would say so. There is also Kawhi was on a little bit of a different situation in year 2. If I'm not mistaken, he was with those championship Spurs teams. So yeah, he had a little bit of a reduced offensive role, but yeah, I mean, Keegan's definitely in terms of where he's at in his development, his 3-point shot is much better than anything Kawhi had, even his mid-range game at this point in his career. But also, Keegan's older. Keegan's 23 or 24 now. Right. Kawhi in his second season was 21. So you also have to factor that in a little bit.
It's kind of a wash.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm still going to push back a little bit on saying Keegan is at the same career trajectory as Kawhi Leonard. Like Kawhi Leonard is a Finals MVP, two-time Finals MVP, two-time NBA champion. And we're talking about Keegan Murray hopefully being the third option on this Kings team, maybe a second. Kawhi Leonard's a bona fide number one option. So, and the best defensive player.
Well, I'll make an argument right here. No, hold on now.
What up?
I don't know that. Was Kawhi first option on the Spurs?
I would say by the end of it, yeah. By the time Tim Duncan and all them were gone, definitely.
I'll tell you another thing.
Yeah.
I would say Fred VanVleet saved Kawhi Leonard in 2019.
You're right. You're completely right. Yeah, that Raptors team is definitely winning the title.
No, but I'm saying Fred VanVleet, if he doesn't lose his mind, and create generational wealth for himself in the process,
three major injuries don't happen to the Warriors.
They don't beat the Warriors.
Sure.
I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, then Kawhi Leonard's a one-time NBA champion, a one-time Finals MVP.
But you know where I'm going with this is that I think Kawhi is maybe a bit overrated.
No.
Yes. And because of that, I would say that
I think he's underrated.
Keegan,
if anything.
How is he underrated?
Because he doesn't play, and so people assume, he doesn't play, and so no. I mean, I would say that people don't talk enough about when he does play. He is even still the best or one of the top 5 players in the NBA.
We'll see this season.
He's played every game this season, and the Clippers are off to a good start now. 24 points a game.
I'm just saying that I don't think
44% from 3.
I don't think it's unrealistic for Keegan to be in that category. Okay, if we're saying
it's tough,
I think hold on now. I think it's closer for Keegan to be a closer version of Kawhi. I think Keegan could get closer to Kawhi than Sabonis to Jokic.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't think Sabonis is anywhere.
Because a lot of people say Sabonis is a generic store.
Yeah.
Jokic.
Yeah. I just don't. I think. I mean, I'm looking at Kawhi here, and Kawhi's a 5-time All-Star. He's a 5-time All-NBA, 7-time All-Defense. He's part of the NBA All-75 team. There's no. I'm sorry. I don't see.
I'm not
Keegan
trying to
Murray.
put you in a bad position.
I don't feel I'm more than fine putting that out there. I don't think Keegan can get to that level. And yeah, I don't think Sabonis is. I think like the Jokic thing. I feel like Jokic is just feel wise and he's got a different level. He's got that just Sabonis is definitely good, but he doesn't have that special crazy quality. I don't think I don't feel bad in saying that I don't think Keegan can get to Kawhi's level, but I don't also think that has to be some big, insult.
No, and look, as we get into some Niners talk later in the show, we've talked about it before. Everybody wants their guy to be a dude, right?
For sure.
Why not coming off of 47 points? Of course, there are going to be some people that think, why not? Keegan could get there.
I didn't think he could get to 47.
Sure. Well, exactly. And to your point, the Kawhi situation can be confusing. And I think that argument becomes, well, how should we look at Kawhi because of the games he's missed? A lot of people would say the best ability is availability.
For sure.
So Kawhi is just a really curious career in general. But I think people are just seeing the type of player that Keegan is. People would rather, especially right now, put Keegan in the Kawhi variant category than the Klay Thompson variant category. And I would probably say that he's somewhere in the middle because I think he creates more than Klay. He might already be creating more than Klay ever has right now.
Yeah, I think I mean, I think the greater point is that he's doing it on both ends of the floor. I think both of that's the thing. If you're going to say variant or disciple or whatever, it's the fact that both of those guys, Kawhi and Klay, you could talk about the specifics of what makes a guy more Klay than Kawhi, but the point is that both of those guys are elite offensive players while also at the same time being one of the best defenders in the NBA. And that's where I could see Keegan heading towards that direction. But even then, I have questions on because we saw him struggle, and granted, he's figuring it out now as you read out that Frankie tweet, but he did struggle to do both at the same time to start the year.
Yeah.
And I think that's really, really tough. Now, of course, it's only his second season, but that's going to have to be something that it's going to go up another level in the playoffs. Like you're going to have to defend even harder and maybe be equally as efficient in the playoffs.
You ain't playing the Jazz in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not playing the Jazz in the playoffs.
To your point earlier, like that's what makes this upcoming week kind of really important for the Kings. Now, it's not end all be all, but if Keegan can continue to play in this fashion against the Celtics, against the T-Wolves, against the Suns, well, like those are playoff quality opponents, and that's where you start to wonder, okay, maybe this dude can do this just every single night against any competition and not just against the Utah Jazz, who don't have, any real like legitimate all-star players besides Lauri Markkanen.
All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, talking JTA joining Sacramento. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sacktown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sacktown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit KHTK.com.
It's no secret to golf enthusiasts that Timber Creek and Sierra Pines in Roseville are one of the region's most unique and scenic places to enjoy a great game of golf. 27 holes, boundless options. Elevate your game on our newly renovated driving range, putting green, and chipping area. Whether you're aiming for fun, lower scores, or all-around growth, we've got you covered. Experience golfing dreams in Roseville and book your tee time at timbercreekgc.com. Timber Creek and Sierra Pines, your ultimate golf haven.
As we come together to celebrate the end of this long, long year, Stockton Honda has savings to bring us all cheer. Happy Honda Day savings and selection galore. Stockton Honda's online express purchase and great people give you more.
Save on 400 new Hondas at Stockton Honda during Happy Honda Days. Shop in person or online with our express purchase option.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Red Hawk Resort Casino is the best place to go all in and all out. Go all in at our table games, then go all out to win on the area's only 3-story indoor kart track. Or go all in for our famous award-winning buffet. Then go all out at our state-of-the-art 18-lane bowling center. And now with a world-class sports bar and beautiful resort hotel, you can go all in for fun and all out for comfort. We're Red Hawk Resort Casino, official casino partner of the Sacramento Kings.
The sewer system. It's probably the last thing on your mind, and that's okay. Because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. As the region's largest sewer utility, we own and maintain thousands of miles of sewer pipe. And our job is to get to your sewer problem before it interrupts your life. So whether you've got a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night. The Sacramento Area Sewer District. It's a dirty job, but we're happy to do it.
Jerry and Kenny here from Bell Brothers, the No Surprise Guys. We love that old song, Respect. You know, RESPECT.
It's a good song and a good business philosophy. At Bell Brothers, everything we do is designed to show respect for our customers.
We show up on time out of respect. Our technicians are clean-cut, friendly, and wear identification badges out of respect.
We do good deeds for free for our customers and leave their homes cleaner than we found them. That's right, out of respect.
So, if you want plumbing and AC service from a company that will show you some RESPECT, call Bell Brothers. We promise to respect your time, your home, and you.
Call Bell Brothers right now to schedule an $87 precision tune-up. Or call if you have plumbing problems. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your home for the Oakland A's every weekend.
And it's swung on line to left center, base hit, and the A's have won it on a walk-off line drive, base hit to left center.
Sacktown Sports.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. And you have a new king joining the Sacramento Kings, someone that I am familiar with in the Bay Area, Juan Toscano Anderson, most recently playing for the G League or in the G League, yep. And he has been signed. Obviously, there is some familiarity there with Coach Mike Brown, and JTA played with the Lakers for 30 games back in 2022, 2023, played on that championship Warriors team in 2022. And after that, so as I remember it, he got a little bag after he balled with the Lakers, Warriors, and he got a little bag with the Lakers, and it just didn't work out.
Yeah, pretty much.
It didn't work out. What you're getting in JTA, as far as I'm concerned, is you're getting a guy who's going to compete defensively. Mm-hmm. Yep. Honestly, as from the defensive standpoint, I wouldn't call him lockdown. Yep. I would say he gives great effort. Right. He is long, okay, and he's going to try his best to get in you, but I wouldn't call him a savior as far as the defensive kind of piece, but he just does all the little things. He's a great bench guy.
Right.
He can hit the corner three for you if you need it. Probably don't want him shooting too many of those. One of those guys, I'd call him a 3-and-D guy with great effort, can help defensively, but is just a little bit limited in what he will be able to do. So just some of these averages here in 2022 with the Warriors, he averaged 4.1 points per game, shot 32% from three, 2.4 rebounds, 1.7 assists. Lakers, he was only, the Lakers signed him. They were only giving him 12 minutes. He had 13 minutes with the Warriors. And he averaged 2.7 points on 50% field goals, 20% from three. So I think the Lakers are just trying to get every wing they could find and try to figure it out. In 2021, he played 53 games with the Warriors and he was getting 20 minutes. And in those games, he averaged 5.7 points on 57% shooting and shot 40% from three. So he's a guy who is not afraid of the moment, Bay Area guy, Oakland dude. I think that he will definitely add to this team. And in a situation like this where you don't have to lose, why not have him and see how things work out? But as far as I think a lot of people would think about him in the defensive standpoint. I think he's going to be one of the better defenders for the Kings. But if you're wondering if you just got a shutdown guy or somebody that's going to crack the rotation, I don't believe it's going to be JTA, but a good addition when you don't have to give anything up.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, like you said, he's just an energy guy. That's really all that I'm looking for him to do. Kind of reminds me of just like a taller, more stretched out version of Kessler Edwards really is kind of the role that I would expect him to play. Like you said, not like anything special on the defensive end, but he's going to give effort on that end. And, you know, he'll always give you good energy. And then, offensively, you're really just anything you can get as a positive.
Yeah.
He's an okay cutter. He's an okay finisher. He
understands the game.
Understands the game, but he's also somebody low maintenance, at least, you know, if you want to say that, if you're going to put him out there, maybe with Malik Monk and with De'Aaron and, you know, maybe with Sabonis out there, it might make a little bit of sense because offensively, he's just not a guy who has to get touches in order for his value to be shown. And so, you know, it's a guy that you can maybe just kind of throw into certain lineups. Like you said, he's not going to be getting 15 to 20 minutes on a given night, but I don't think so. He'll probably check in last couple minutes of a quarter just to give good energy. And like you said, it's an incredibly, there's a no risk. There's zero risk behind it. And really all that you could potentially get is just maybe a body to throw at guys that, you know, like we've been saying, the Kings just kind of don't have a particular set of personnel. At least JTA helps alleviate that a little bit. Even then, he's not Kyle Kuzma out there. He's not 6'9" with a 6'11" wingspan. I think he's listed at 6'7" and probably has 6'9" wingspan. Yeah. So you know, it's a guy that you can throw out there. He's a wing defender, and you know, I wouldn't expect much out of JTA this year, but I also wouldn't be surprised if we kind of see him get some minutes sooner rather than later, so that they could figure out, because Keon Ellis still getting a lot of big league action here. I think he's got 51 games before they need to convert that two-way into a full season-long contract. So who knows? Maybe JTA kind of gets a little tryout here, and if it doesn't go well, or how the Kings want it to go, maybe that roster spot just ends up going to Keon.
So you think if it does go well, it could be the end of Keon?
I didn't think of that in that capacity, but I guess in a way somebody's got to go if Keon's going to remain on the roster. So I didn't think of it that way, but yeah, actually kind of. Yeah, it's a little bit of JTA or Keon, or they could trade somebody and free up a roster spot, or they could, I mean, it doesn't have to be JTA that goes. It could be Kessler Edwards that goes. It could be, you know, I don't know. It could be anybody who's on the end of the roster.
So basically the Kings roster is at capacity.
Yeah, it is now. Yeah.
And if Keon is going to get that, because everybody is just saying, oh, he's obviously going to get this.
Right.
With them signing JTA is basically a tryout for that last spot.
In a way, yeah.
Whether it would be JTA, Keon, and I think it's a good point to put Kessler Edwards in there.
Could be JaVale too. Who knows? Like when Alex Len comes back, if they're not.
See, man. No, you can't just do that.
Just like throwing that out.
Leave JaVale alone. You need the vertical threat.
When's Alex Len come back?
Leave him alone. He's not part of this. It's those three.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah. To look at it like that. Now, if you're going to put it through that lens, and I know iron sharpens iron, does that make you surprised that they brought in JTA?
I guess the timing is a little strange, especially with Keon like seemingly starting to really find his offense. He had the 17-point game the other day.
And by the way, Keon and JTA, not the same position at all.
No.
The more similar, like you said, would be Kessler and JTA.
Yeah, definitely. And, and they haven't played Kessler a lot this year. He had a pretty disappointing summer league, I would say. I think people expected, especially in the summer league environment, him to kind of look like he's a step above it and kind of look like he belonged a little bit in summer league. And I wouldn't say that's a positive. And yeah, this year we really haven't seen much of Kessler at all. Like last year after they got him, I don't think anyone expected him to crack any sort of rotation. And by the end of the year, it was almost like, I think come playoff time, we have to play Kessler Edwards because at least he plays defense. This year, I guess with the team collectively playing better defense, maybe his use or his value is just a little bit less because everybody's starting to contribute, and Kessler's exceptional defense or whatever you would call it isn't as doesn't stand out as much when everyone's kind of pulling a little bit more weight. But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if Kessler's the guy, or who knows, maybe even like Chris Duarte has completely fallen out of the rotation. Maybe it's him. I don't know.
That is a name drop.
The Kings could also just make a move on the edges. Like you could trade 2 for 1 and get Kessler Edwards and I don't know. Yeah, Chris Duarte for one other player, and then that still opens up the roster spot there. So there's a couple different ways that they can approach opening up that
I'm not even
spot.
kidding with you. That Chris Duarte, that was a name drop.
Yeah.
Chris, I can't think of the last
he's
time
forgotten
I
about,
thought
right?
about Chris Duarte.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious.
No, and because the problem is he as well was supposed to be really big impact this year. He was supposed to be 100% in the rotation.
We talked about
he's
maybe him starting.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that was like a month ago, maybe. Man. And yeah, he's completely just he played to start the fourth quarter the other day after Keegan went crazy, and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I forgot Chris Duarte was a piece, and he just looks like for whatever reason it hasn't fit. Like Chris Duarte's style of play just hasn't really worked, and we were kind of not promised, but there was a lot of talk about, oh my gosh, Sabonis opened up so much for Chris Duarte in Indiana, and his numbers were so much better with Sabonis than without. And now that he's back with him, he's gonna look like his rookie season again. And we just haven't seen any of it. So I mean, it would not surprise me if he's another guy who might have some value still. Again, the Kings, I think the Kings got him for pretty much nothing, but you could probably get a second round pick or something for a guy like Chris Duarte. I think he's somebody who could maybe intrigue you. Like I think the Warriors or someone like that could really use a guy.
Well, that's what I had them in my trade machine.
There you go.
I had them in the trade machine. If you were to answer this question without thinking at all, and you are a team like the whoever you want to say, the Warriors or whoever, who has more value to you, Davion Mitchell or Chris Duarte?
I would say it probably depends on situation, but I would say Davion probably still, because he played in the playoffs last year. He played well when he did play, at least defensively. You can definitely say that's a universal thing that it feels like every team would say, like Davion Mitchell, we can use that on ball pressure.
Davion is 25, Duarte is 26, so they're basically
that's interesting. Yeah, yeah. I mean, long term, personally, I would probably take Duarte because it feels like you can easily, or more easily, I should say, just find a role. You could probably find 5 to 10 minutes for him. And if it goes well, maybe he could be, a guy of his profile who can shoot and defend a little. That's a guy who you can sneak in your rotation. I do wonder with Davion how much of it is like it's either a hit or it's a complete miss. Like it's either going to be Davion figures it out in a different system. It just works a little bit better. He's able to have the ball in his hand a little bit more, use a little bit more pick and roll. He plays more minutes. Just all of it leads to more Davion success. I have a tough time seeing him kind of do this role, but for a different team, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know how many teams are really going to look for Davion Mitchell to, at least like I could see Washington, like a team like the Wizards or the Bulls, I think would be perfect for Davion. Just give him minutes and let him try to figure out on the floor. I feel like if you're still going to give Davion 10 to 15 minutes, it's just going to be really hard for him, in my opinion, to find his footing in the league.
But I don't know if he has a high enough ceiling for somebody to want to do that.
Yeah. No, it's
right. You got too many
like
young,
if you're just
young
taking
bucks
it
running
along,
around
right.
where I can give minutes to somebody else. I mean, if Jaden Ivey can't get any time,
right,
I would give Jaden Ivey the time before
you're not wrong
before Davion Mitchell. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, we will discuss what Sam Amick had to say, friend of the station, and getting back into possible trades that the Kings may or may not need at this point. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Match De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
If you or someone you know is having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, 988 provides 24/7 compassionate support and connection to trained counselors. When you call, text, or chat 988, you'll be quickly connected to trained counselors who will listen to your concerns, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. There is hope. The Lifeline works. You are not alone. For 24/7 support, just call, text, or chat 988.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
I'm Craig Ashton of the Injury Law Firm of Ashton & Price. Whether you've been injured on a bicycle, as a pedestrian in a slip and fall, Auto, Uber, Lyft, or big rig accident, you need Ashton and Price in your corner. When you call Ashton and Price, there's no chatbot telling you to hit 3 for accounting. You're greeted by a real-life person who will immediately transfer you to an experienced attorney. The consultation's free, and there's never a fee until you win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
The following is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. 45 minutes. We have some hardcore Niners talk with Nate Littlefield as we talk all things Niners, who roll against the Cardinals 45-29. The Brock is hot. NV Purdy. Okay, there is a lot to talk about with Brock Purdy. Is he the best quarterback in the NFL?
Uh-oh.
It's a fair question now. That's what the streets are saying. That's what the fields are saying. All guessing callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Chris,
yes, sir.
Just real quick.
Yeah.
Before we get back into Kings.
Okay.
We're going to talk Niners in about an hour here. Do you think it's ridiculous to have a conversation about Brock Purdy as the best quarterback in the NFL?
Yes. That's actually tough because the problem is I feel like, would you say it's a different conversation to say he's playing like the best quarterback in the NFL versus saying he is the best quarterback? Then yes, then I would say yes. Because Patrick Mahomes is still alive and breathing.
Yeah, it's tough. But then the conversation becomes, let's take Patrick Mahomes out of it.
Sure.
Who's second?
You probably put, skill-wise and like what I think people feel like is potential is at, probably Josh Allen 2, if not Joe Burrow 2. And then after that, after those guys, like the conversation is pretty open at that
it's
point.
Weird.
Even Josh Allen, you could argue his stock is never been lower than it is right now. They didn't win on Sunday because Josh Allen was out there.
Exactly.
So, with Brock, it kind of is at what is the line to where it no longer feels crazy to have that conversation. That it's the bar keeps getting raised. It keeps going from like, okay, it's crazy to talk about top 10. Well, now it's like, okay, top 8. Okay, well, is it crazy to say top 5?
I think it's just a weird time.
I don't think it's crazy to say top 5.
No, it's not. And I do think this is not a slight to Brock, but I do think it's just a weird time for quarterbacks. We thought we had a lot of the quarterbacks from the last decade who we grew up with, from Drew Brees to maybe we didn't know how good we had it, right? And we thought there was just going to be this turnover.
Yeah.
And, from Drew Brees to Peyton Manning to Phillip Rivers to Tom Brady, obviously, and Eli Manning to a lesser degree, Ben Roethlisberger, a lot of these guys to where, and I know Cam Newton had some things to say. Joe Flacco, right? I know
not right.
Cam Newton had a lot of things to say and people tried to come down his road, but you now hand the keys off to these young bucks and these new QBs, and you're thinking, okay, who's the next great? And you're looking around thinking, okay, well, Joe Burrow can't stay on the field.
Right.
Justin Herbert, we just don't know yet. Trevor Lawrence can't hold on to the football. You have Patrick Mahomes, and Josh Allen is Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Lamar we're still waiting. Yeah.
This could be the season where
Lamar might shady be the best pick for that, because if you're ever going to beat Mahomes, it's going to be this season.
Yeah.
I don't think they can beat the Niners, but if you're ever going to beat Mahomes, it's going to be this season. But we will have more Niners talk in a little less than an hour, 1 p.m. with Nate Littlefield, as we get into a friend of the station, Sam Amick, who had some things to say about the trade conversations and who it seems more realistic for the Kings to get. So, Chris, I know you had some pieces on that.
Yes, this is fantastic. As everyone knows here in Sacramento, Sam is incredibly plugged in when it comes to anything Kings. Anything Sam says about the Kings, I would definitely take it about as close to gospel as you can, because again, the dude is just so locked in when it comes to anything local, and you know, he's always talking to the right people. So if there's anything sourced in here or anything that says you know, from people I'm talking to, just believe it. Just trust me, and it's true. And Sam, of course, had some things to say about the Kings being involved in just about every big name out there, whether it's Lauri Markkanen, OG, Pascal Siakam, Zach LaVine, and Sam's got it all. He says when it comes to the Toronto guys, that being Pascal and OG, who are headed to free agency this summer, Siakam with an expiring, and OG Anunoby is widely believed to decline his $19.9 million player exception. Amick writes that these two players appear unlikely at the moment to be on Sacramento's radar. Anunoby, more specifically, does not appear to be of significant interest to the Kings. So I definitely think that's of note, because I would say that OG Anunoby is probably the one that Kings fans, a majority of Kings fans, would say is the fit that makes the most sense. That's the direct one-for-one replacement for Harrison Barnes. If you just take HB out and you put OG in, to me, that's the most seamless fit of all of the names out there. Sam saying the Kings are out, I feel like that's pretty much it. And we were talking about earlier, Keegan not being involved in those trade talks probably is what, you know, ends up killing those deals.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like either of those two guys are going to be an option. However, Sam does go on to say when it comes to Zach LaVine and his huge $178 million left on his deal, the Kings might actually be interested in kicking the tires on a deal like that, though it is quite hefty. Sam says that the Kings roster focus appears to be on the value of additional shooting and offense above all else. And because of the Kings' improvement, slight that may be, on the defensive end, going from 23 last year to 15th this year, that improvement, Sam writes, it seems, is enough to turn the internal spotlight towards becoming even more explosive on the other end. And yeah, I mean, just, and also goes on to say, by the way, that there's a lot of talk about, you know, LaVine going over to the Lakers, you know, with Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Sam writes in here, and we've talked about this a couple different times. Sam writes, quote, De'Aaron Fox is a major priority for Clutch Sports these days as well. Per league sources, LaVine would be very happy with a move to Sacramento, and that would make Fox his backcourt mate. So interesting in there, and I don't think that it's nothing that Sam throws in the Clutch clientness of this all. It's a very real thing.
It's a real thing. And obviously, if you can keep your main guys and you can swing it financially and you have your main guys locked up to go on, call it a 3 to 5 year run, something like that.
I think that would be the window.
Rock and roll.
Yeah.
I have no clue what that looks like.
What do you think about the line before that last? Since the Kings have moved from 23 to 15, they no longer feel like they need to make a move necessarily to improve that defense. They feel like the shift has already shifted far enough, and there's no need to, you know, continue to try and improve on that end. They would rather just double down on the offense. I saw a couple people saying, okay, so 15 is good enough. 15 is quite literally the number where it's like, hey, we're average. Like, we are quite literally right in the middle of the league when it comes to defense. Now it's just about, let's turn the offense up to another dial. Or do you still feel like, you know, defense wins championships, all those cliches? Do you feel like there still needs to be some attention given to the defensive end?
I think that makes sense to me, because all everybody said coming into this season is, well, if you're going to score like you're going to score, then your defense only needs to be middle of the road. Now, the defense is middle of the road, but it's taken Keegan a while to get it going, and Herter really hasn't gotten it going besides a couple. It looking more like a couple games versus that being the norm. So if you think you can bring in somebody that will bring you back to where you were offensively or take you to the next level, And at very worst, you're not going to slip defensively, right? You just got to get Zach LaVine to give some effort here.
Right.
He's got the quickness and all those
tools. Yeah.
He's got the tools. So I would say that it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm more so thinking about how much anybody has really watched Zach LaVine since being in Chicago and what that fit actually is offensively as well.
Yeah, because I have concerns about that. It's a lot of Zach LaVine with the ball in his hands in Chicago, and if you're going to put him off ball and reduce his role and reduce his importance, well then you're paying that dude $48 million, starting at $48 million. He better be contributing in a lot of different ways if he's mainly a scorer and you're demoting his role. Though I feel like it would work because I feel like Zach does. He's got the good shooting ability. He's got good enough shooting ability. I haven't looked at his catch and shoot numbers specifically, but it feels like he's a guy who should be able to shoot above league average when it comes to off ball. And we know about his leaping ability, so he shouldn't have any issues being a cutter or attacking the rim. I think it makes a lot of sense on the offensive end. To me, it kind of, it does end up becoming just a matter like we talked about with Draymond, but it's the contract is just too big for me.
It's not
to me. If you're going to make if you're going to, ship off your Kevin Huerter, your Davion, all of your assets except for Keegan, and you're going to consolidate also those three individual financial pieces into one, going all in. You better make sure that one guy that you're trading, you're going all in for, better make sure that that's the right one, because you can't really move pieces around after that. And frankly, I just don't think Zach LaVine is the one. I think he definitely makes this team better, but if you're telling me, the Kings are Zach LaVine away from NBA title contention, you're going to have to sell me on that one a little bit.
Zach LaVine, 21 points per game, 4.9 rebounds, so call it 5, and 3.4 assists per game. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back talking Lauri Markkanen, did you watch him on Saturday? Were you impressed? Would you want him in the purple? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and all NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Dell's holiday event is one of their biggest sales of the year. Shop limited time deals on laptops like the stylish, innovative XPS 13, engineered to do it all on the Intel Evo platform. Plus, save big on ultra-sharp monitors and top brand accessories. It's the perfect time to upgrade any home, business, or gaming setup powered by Intel Core processors. Shop now at Dell.com/deals to take advantage of huge savings and free shipping on everything. Again, that's Dell.com/deals.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. 120,000 miles of night drives, daily commutes, and who knows how many.
Are we there yet?
Through countless fixes, elbow grease, and a new radiator, you kept your ride alive. With eBay Motors, you have over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
It's the season of performance event at Acura of Stockton. Elevate your driving experience with a vehicle that's built to impress. Lease a new Acura RDX or MDX. Acura of Stockton has a great selection of new Acuras and customer service that will exceed your expectations. Take luxury to a whole new level in a new Acura from Acura of Stockton or AcuraofStockton.com, where precision crafted performance is at your fingertips.
Hey, it's Deuce and Mo. Make this Christmas unforgettable by shopping at our friends Sharif Jewelers.
Do you even remember what you thought last Christmas?
No.
Well, you got to make this one memorable.
Okay.
Make sure to go into Sharif Jewelers. You can get diamond studs, tennis bracelets. There's so many classic, timeless pieces that can be worn every single day, available in both lab-grown and natural mined.
In so many different price points. So don't go anywhere else this holiday season. Support a local, family-owned business rooted in Sacramento for 30 years. Sharif Jewelers.
At American Energy, their number one priority is
is making sure you and your family are comfortable in your home for the holidays. And that's why they're giving away a free whole home HVAC system to one lucky family in the greater Sacramento area. Now, if you or you know a family in need of being comfortable this winter, enter for your chance to win the American Energy Comfort giveaway by going to the AEway.com today. You could win a free whole home HVAC system. American Energy Heat and Air, making the uncomfortable comfortable. For official contest rules, go to the AEway.com.
Over the last 5 years, there's been a 25% increase in reported hate crimes. A hate crime not only harms the victim, but strikes fear into their entire community. Our community. The FBI is committed to combating hate crime and seeking justice. We're here to help. If you have been a victim or witness to a hate crime, dial 1-800-CALL-FBI or submit a tip at tips.fbi.gov. Protecting our communities together. Dial 1-800-CALL-FBI to report hate crimes. Sponsored by the FBI. Aired by California Broadcasters.
At aimyourdigital.com, we'll help you find the right customers. Spread awareness of your product or services. We can help build trust in your brand and services with a digital marketing campaign. Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing campaigns that deliver results. Don't wait. Get started today. Contact aimyourdigital.com. That's aimyourdigital.com and start seeing results.
This holiday season, visit Boot Barn for top quality gifts that pay tribute to the lasting heritage of the West. From handcrafted cowboy boots and American-made felt hats to hand-stitched leather jackets, our in-store experts will help guide you as you shop, assisting with boot fitting and providing complimentary hat shaping. This holiday, share a piece of the American spirit. Boot Barn. Unwrap the West.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We'll be joined by Nate Littlefield at 1 p.m. to talk Niners of the Return of the Empire podcast. 916-339-1140 from the 530. Is there another potential third star in the league other than Levine that the Kings could go after? Funny you asked that, 530, because there is, and the Kings just played him this past weekend, Lauri Markkanen. And if you were watching the game, we are curious your thoughts on Lauri Markkanen if you haven't really gotten to watch him too much before. This is from Kevin O'Connor, who covers the NBA as well. And he says that the asking price for Lauri could be around 5-ish picks. Here's a quote. My impression from talking to teams is that it's something resembling the haul the Jazz received for Mitchell and Gobert. So 5. They just want all the picks. Give me all the picks. They're trying to go the OKC route and just get all the picks in the world.
Oh, boy.
5-ish firsts and or players of comparable value.
How about no? How about absolutely not?
What is that? 5-ish. So the Kings wouldn't have a pick until what?
Yeah.
2040?
I mean, I think they're kind of saying like or equal value. So like,
Keegan.
Yeah, but then the question is, okay, what is Keegan worth? 2 first-round picks? Is that 3 first-round picks? Is that 3.5?
First round?
He is a first-round pick, but like value, like does that take a first? Like if you trade Keegan and Davion, does that count as 3 first-round picks? Is that 4? Is that 3.5? Like it becomes just a mess, and like and then there's protections and pick swaps. So in a way, that number is a little bit more menacing on paper than what it might be in actual practice. But even still, it feels great. I mean, that's laughable. You're not, especially from the Kings perspective, you're not even entertaining that at that point. Like Lauri Markkanen's cool. He's a shooter. He's a 4 who's 7 feet tall. So you get some size, but it's no. Again, kind of like the Levine thing. I don't know if he's necessarily good enough to consolidate assets to kind of go. Wouldn't necessarily be all in, but you'd for the most part be locked into Lauri Markkanen, Sabonis, and Fox as your future.
Yeah,
don't love it.
Yeah, and even if you're looking at this from just the structure of the team, you have 2 guys, and we just talked about Levine, who defensively isn't going to
Right.
add, and Lauri Markkanen is not going to add anything defensively either. The bottom line is, number one, everybody is expensive, and number two, not many guys play defense, and that is why, to bring it all the way back, to Keegan Murray, a two-way guy in this league is almost invaluable.
Yeah.
Right? Because
everyone's looking for 3-and-D, right?
Everybody's looking for a 3-and-D wing, and the Kings have that and some as he continues to improve and get better. So I don't know. The more I think about this, the more we break. There's something wrong with everyone. There's something wrong with everyone that we've looked at, and I know we've kind of shut the door on Pascal Siakam and the Raptors. But here, and Chris, you broke this down perfectly. I'm going to read it, but you break this down in layman's terms because you did perfectly in the pre-show. So this is the Pascal Siakam contract details, right? So you have OG, who they want Keegan. You have Lauri Markkanen, who they want 5 first-rounders or something of that value. You got Zach LaVine, who's getting paid what feels like $60 million a year. I'm kidding, but he is at 45, and it is going to go up to, I think, 49 by the end of the contract. And here's Pascal Siakam, eligible for 4-year, $192 million extension with Raptors until June 30th, 2024. If traded prior to December 30th, Siakam could sign the same 4-year extension 6 months after being traded. He's only eligible for a 2-year, $84 million extension if he is not traded prior to December 30th.
Interesting. So that tells me that Pascal Siakam, there's 2 different trade values for Pascal Siakam. There's the December 31st, or we'll just call it the January value, and then there's the up until January, just the rest of December value. He clearly has a lot more value right here, right now. If Masai can move Pascal in the next couple weeks, that's going to bring the most possible return for him, because the team that's trading for him, we'll just say, whatever, it doesn't matter. The team that's trading for him could then sign him to the longest possible extension with the money that Pascal would also be happy with. He wouldn't become a free agent. And so his value is just peak right now. After that January 1st or whatever, December 30th deadline, he then can only sign a 2-year deal, which obviously means less team control. It also is less likely that Siakam's going to accept that. He might just say, I'll do a tryout the second half of the season, and then maybe I'll hit free agency, and then all things are going to be equal anyway. I could still sign with you, but I just want to explore my options. It just really, and with that is going to become, well, I'm not going to give you what I was going to give you before, because I'm not trying to take that level of a risk. If I can guarantee that I'm going to have him for 4 years after I trade for him, well, then sure, that's maybe I'll throw you some first round picks. If I'm the Warriors, maybe I'll do Kuminga, Moody, and some picks. But if it's after that January deadline and you can only sign him to a 2-year deal, it already has become really hard to deal with for him. I think after that, pretty much that to me says after January, or in January, once January hits, I think it's almost it's probably not going to happen that Pascal Siakam's going to get moved. It just feels like if Masai isn't okay with the value now, he's definitely not going to be okay with the value even when it's at a reduced rate, even if it makes sense for it to be at a reduced rate.
Right. So if you are a team looking at Pascal and you can't get it done prior to this 4-year extension, you're going to say, hey, Masai, I'm not giving you all this because it's just a 2-year extension after that.
Right.
So I'm not giving. And so I just don't know. We might need to call somebody in the 666 and just get their thought process on,
is this
good?
good?
Are they okay with what they're doing in Toronto? What is the plan? It's just, why doesn't he just come out? And as much as I didn't want the Raiders to move off of Devontae, at some point it made sense. And they said, hey, we're not moving him. He's just living in this world, which has been, how long have they been going on? For 2-3 years?
Pretty much, 2-3 years at this point. Running.
Where, like, if you're the fan base, that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah.
How about
You're
this?
not buying
If you're
jerseys.
OG or Pascal, that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah.
I cannot believe that the Raptors are allowing him to just continue with this weird purgatory.
Yeah.
And it's been going, and to your point, it could go on another year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I don't know. If I were a fan, I would understand. I'd be like, you know what? I guess in one sense, I'm glad that my GM isn't one of these dumb GMs who are going to, I was going to trade Tyrese Halliburton for somebody. No. I was going to just throw that in there for fun, but I don't actually feel that way. You'd much rather him overvalue your guys and try and get as much return, especially when you see the Donovan Mitchell trade, you see the Gobert trade. You're like, okay, if people are just throwing out first-round picks like they're hotcakes, why would I accept anything less? But at the same time, you then end up now where you're in a situation where Fred VanVleet left this offseason for nothing, Kawhi left for nothing, and now you have two more guys from that same era where do you really want to have your championship team from a couple years back completely gone and have nothing to show for it?
Yeah.
Like you got Scotty Barnes, but that's because you sucked. It wasn't because you traded for that asset. So, yeah, I mean, it does feel like at some point something's got to give. And if your intention isn't to sign these guys long-term, the Devontae Adams example is perfect because it's like you're just kind of doing your team a disservice. Like these guys are not going to help you win this season, and they're gone after this year. Yeah. So you might as well trade them. And even if it's not exactly what you want, isn't something better than nothing at some point? And, you might get ribbed a little bit for, imagine if you would have traded him 2 years ago, what the Warriors would want to throw and all that stuff. But again, at some point you got to cut your losses and say, maybe I held on to this stock a little bit too long.
Exactly. And I think bringing up stock makes a good point. You could go to trying to sell your car, right? Look, things are tough right now in terms of the market and trying to sell a house or sell a car or whatever it is.
Right.
And you might
market's interesting too, because look at all the other names out there. It's like, okay, well, if you're not going to take this collection of assets, I'm going to throw this collection of assets at Zach LaVine,
right,
or at Laurie Mark. Like, there's tons of different avenues to explore. It's not like you're the only seller.
And then what happens after that? One of those first rounders hit, and Raptor fans are ticked off because that you could have had maybe one or two of those guys if you draft correctly. But Masai is waiting, and every single year, man, look, there are new guys that come into the league every single year, and they might not be Pascal or OG, but there's some good players, and everybody's is improving. And the longer you wait, the less value your guys are gonna have. Nobody's gonna if you put yourself out to be hard to work with, people are just gonna stop calling. And then you have to, and maybe you're okay with that, but your team better be winning. All right, gotta get to a break. When we get back, we're talking Washington Wizards, and we are talking about the curious career of Jordan Poole. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The 49ers have secured their playoff berth, and now they chase the NFC's top seed.
Purdy out of the shotgun, looks left, throws end zone. Caught! George Kittle in the back of the end zone. Touchdown! San Francisco!
Check out all the 49ers games with Greg Papa and Tim Ryan
on your home for the playoff-bound 49ers. Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, get a free T-check and free exam. Book your appointment today at Revive Sacramento. We know we can help you. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
This holiday season, Good Guys Heating and Cooling is turning up the warmth and spreading joy with our Toys for Tune-Ups promotion. Schedule your tune-up or troubleshooting appointment, and with a donation of a new unwrapped toy at the time of your service, we'll waive the fee. It's our way of giving back and making a difference in the lives of local children who might not have the Christmas that every child deserves. All toys will benefit Children's Hope, a wonderful local foster charity right here in Sacramento. Call Good Guys Heating and Cooling at 530-GOOD-AIR to schedule your appointment, or book online at goodguysheatingcooling.com. Happy holidays from the Good Guys family. License number 1057-618.
We can be heroes.
You've seen Cody Lee not once, but twice on America's Got Talent. And now is your chance to see him live at Gold Country Casino Resort. Get your tickets now to see America's Got Talent winner, Cody Lee, January 20th at 8 p.m. Only at
Gold Country Casino Resort.
This show is open to all ages.
At Jim Boy's Tacos, you get a ho lot of flavor for under $10. Our classic #2 combo meal spreads cheer with a farm-dusted ground beef taco, scratch-made bean and cheese burrito, and a soft drink. So jingle on down to Jim Boy's or order online at participating locations. Woo-hoo-hoo!
Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. as we talk Kings, as we will talk Niners in about 15 minutes, getting into Brock Purdy, getting sturdy with Purdy. Do want to talk about the Wizards a little bit because earlier in the show, we discussed whether the Wizards should be this bad.
Yeah.
And Chris, you initially said yes, and I initially said no. And I just want to take some time to talk about Jordan Poole.
Please, yeah, you were boots on the ground last year.
So Jordan, I was a guy who I thought Jordan Poole kind of got a bad rap. I thought that Jordan Poole, I had a pool party shirt. I was enjoying what he was doing. I thought that I didn't think he would ever be Steph or anything like that. But during that 2022 run, I thought, hey, they're going to be able to keep this thing going. He's only going to improve, right? Is he going to be on a run like this forever? I don't know, but he's only going to improve. You saw him when guys would get physical with him. Later on in that playoffs, he disappeared a little bit. He was really good against the Nuggets when he was starting. And then throughout that playoffs, he kind of disappeared a bit and then had his moments against the Celtics with the half-court shots, but kind of cooled off a bit.
I forgot about the half-court shots.
Yeah, I mean, the world was literally his oyster, and then he comes back. We still don't know. We've heard so many things. You're a backpack for 30. I heard even wilder stuff that I will not say on these airwaves, and he gets punched in the face by Draymond Green, and in Warrior Land, there was a lot of caping for Draymond. There was a lot of, Jordan Poole just seems like he's annoying, and there's this, and he must have crossed the line. Look at how the rest of the team is treating him. And now he gets the bag, right? And now he is in Washington, averaging 16.9 points per game on 40% field goal percentage. 2.6 rebounds and 3.6 assists.
What's that 3-point percentage looking like these days?
The 3-point.
Is it under 30?
The 3-point percentage.
Because I know he's putting them up.
It's at 29.9%.
That's not it. That is not it, brother.
It is at 29.9%. He's
just putting them up.
He's putting them up.
40-29 splits is crazy.
Yeah, and he has been seen getting into it a little bit with some of the other guys on the team, not really paying attention during some of the timeouts. So, I don't think it vindicates Draymond at all.
No.
But is it insane to me to think that I'm not blaming everything on the punch, but this is one of the most bizarre turn of events we've ever seen. Right, like if he doesn't get punched, like it's just so much easier to do this if he didn't get punched.
Right,
it's just so much easier to say he just got hot, then he cooled off,
and he left the Warrior situation, and all of a sudden,
But it's like I don't know. I like to take things to the kind of the mental side of things, and it is crazy to me that you can ascend like that, and then just fall off a cliff.
Right.
I mean, Chris, that next season after the punch, he was just bad.
Yeah.
It's just bad ball.
Well, and to your point, though, initially about being underrated as well, I do think it is unfair how Warrior fans really didn't give him credit for when Steph was out.
Yeah.
Like him and Clay did, and a lot was Jordan Poole. Like a lot of it was Jordan Poole holding the ship afloat. Now, were they great? Were they, a top seed in the West? No, they were hovering around 500. But without Steph and as Jordan Poole as your lead guy, after all that had gone down, I did feel like it was a little disrespectful of how they were treating him. Even then, it was okay, we're gonna use you when we need you, but then when Steph is back and things aren't going well, you're right back to that scapegoat role. And it's crazy. I mean, I think it is. like, what else are you going to point to the reason why Jordan Poole just fell off?
Or he
you're
just
right.
got
like,
hot.
It was
the only other option. He just got hot for a season.
And he is one of those guys where you could see, like he is a streaky. He's definitely a volume.
But even the moves and the confidence and how he was playing was just completely different.
Yeah, no, it is. It's tough. I mean, but to go to the mental side of things, you could understand how a moment like that, maybe not even necessarily the punch itself. You could argue maybe now did he get knocked out like that? Getting knocked out in front of your team by a teammate, and then feeling like nobody had your back. Like, that's a pretty lonely feeling. That's got to feel pretty isolating, especially, you feel like
Andrew
you're on
Wiggins
the up.
was his boy.
Yeah, and
Andrew
then all
Wiggins
the young
and
guys.
Jordan Poole were boys.
Yeah.
And I believe Kuminga, they were all cool. So there was this
division,
it was a rift.
It was a real rift.
And just the way everything turned out, that might be one of, if you were to say sports ifs, right? I don't think it's in my top 10 if Bo Jackson never got injured or whoever, but if Jordan Poole never got punched, I'm just curious what would have happened. And I'm not blaming, because, people, look, if anybody knows about pulling yourself up by your bootstraps, it's me. I understand that. People aren't going to feel bad for you, figure it out, right? But you could make the argument. I would make the argument and say, and I don't think Jordan Poole is, what is he? Probably about 24 now.
Yeah.
He's 24 years old.
Yeah. So
I could make the
nuts.
argument if you could still, if you just look back at that 2021-2022 season, and this clearly isn't the right situation for him, right? I don't know if that could become the right situation in Washington. It's crazy because there were so many memes of the Spider-Man, where it's Big Spider-Man or Into the Spider-Verse, right? Where it's Big Spider-Man and Little Spider-Man. And all the time you would see Steph and Jordan Poole and just him moving in that direction. He just is a guy who does seem to lack a little bit of maturity and needed somebody, not Kyle Kuzma, to get him back. I would never, Harrison Barnes is too nice to deserve to be in Washington, but a Harrison Barnes type person that could be like, guys, we got to get our stuff together. We're really not a bad team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We have talent, and figure out what exactly they can be, because I'm not willing to say that Jordan Poole is fully done.
Right.
But I think that
it's being decided.
I think that it's being decided. And Unseld Jr., the coach, is doing his darndest, doing his best. I'm sure he's trying. But I look at Jordan Poole and some of the moves and how crafty he's become.
Yeah.
And I think he's just gotten a little bit lost in the sauce.
Yeah.
And he ain't getting out this season.
Yeah.
It's not happening this season.
I think he reminds me a lot of, like, in the NBA's always got these guys. He reminds me of J.R. Smith. He's very Nick Young-esque, where, they're I wouldn't call it, would you call them head cases? Would you call them just, guys who play street ball, but
He
in
will
the
never
NBA.
be. And don't get it twisted. I'm not saying he could be a number one on a
No,
championship
for sure.
team.
But
I'm
can he
saying
be
he can help,
contributing member of success?
He already been.
has, right?
So I think he can do it again in the right situation.
To your point, like, it feels like he needs a strong leader, though. He needs somebody who it's, hey, nobody is above this guy, because I think Jordan Poole is a habitual line stepper. I think he's a dude who's going to see Steph Curry and he's going to say,
annoying little
look,
brother.
I see Steph every day. I know I can do what Steph does. That's what Jordan Poole tells himself.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes him great. But at the same time, you do need to have somebody almost so good that even Jordan Poole's like, look, I know I say I can do everything Steph does, but even I'm like, that dude's crazy. I think he has to have a level of respect for somebody on his team or the leader of his team. And I think right now in Washington, he's probably looking at him and Kyle, and he's like, Kuz, this is our time. It's jacuzzi time.
It's not. It's really not.
I think he's got to go to like a, LeBron's clearly getting up there at this point, but it feels like a LeBron-led team. Yeah, he probably doesn't want to. But you know what's really unfortunate? I can see Miami being a situation where he goes over if Miami's willing to.
Because Tyler Hero, does that guy ever play? Every time I
just
see
saw him in a white, in like a white
plays.
jeans shirt and
when does
pants,
he play?
and I'm like, what is this dude?
Yeah, Jimmy would be able to whip him into shape.
Yeah.
And I would say, and if I'm not mistaken, Jordan Poole is from, because I remember
he's from Milwaukee.
He's from Milwaukee.
Yeah,
I
him,
would say,
Tyrese, and Tyler Hero are all boys.
Kevon Looney as well is from the Milwaukee area, because I would say that Giannis could whip him into shape and say, hey, you're not going to be doing some of this stuff.
Right.
I think
they
that
could use a guy like that. That's interesting.
He might not ever be in a good enough situation, but what Jordan Poole suffered from in Golden State was that, number one, he had a situation to where he saw guys doing things and he felt like it was too obvious that Steve Kerr and the organization was treating guys different.
Yeah.
You know, Draymond can act like a madman.
Right.
Okay. And look how that ended up for the Warriors. But Jordan Poole can't say this or that, and it gets looked at differently. Everybody gets on Jordan
Steph
Poole.
can throw behind his back and throw it out of bounds to the fifth row, but Jordan Poole doesn't, and all of a sudden this guy's ruining the team.
We feel, come on, Jordan, but this is a 23-year-old through his lens.
Yeah.
Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, the beginning of that season, Klay wasn't playing. So Jordan Poole was balling out. Klay Thompson comes back. He really is still struggling. Yeah. And then Jordan gets relegated to the bench. And then they pay him, and he still gets relegated to the bench. And he's thinking, I've helped the team more than Klay these last couple of years, this last year and a half, and nobody cared. Yeah. So I don't know what Jordan Poole needs. I'm really intrigued to see what the heck we see today.
I think we would both agree, though, there's talent there, though.
There's plenty of talent.
That's what's so frustrating.
He's 24 years old, and he's done it. He's not afraid of the moment.
No.
It's just about reining it in.
Confidence, that kid.
Just reining it in somehow, some way. Will he be able to do it? Will the Wizards be able to do it? I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe in a couple years, but not with this current roster. It just reminds me of a bad daycare. It reminds me of daycare and just baby kids and just everybody running around doing whatever they wanted. It's just, is there a chaperone in here? What's going on? You got jacuzzis.
There's like a 13-year-old who's like, is this the person in charge?
Yeah.
Is it this?
It's like, whose kids are these? Whose kids are these? All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, Nate Littlefield joins us from Return of the Empire to talk Niners and Brock Purdy. Is he the best quarterback in the NFL? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
Every 40 seconds, a child is reported missing. That's 2,000 children every single day. It's a heart-wrenching reality that we can no longer ignore. Find the Children is a non-profit organization dedicated to helping find missing kids. You can be a part of their mission by donating your unwanted vehicle, running or not. Call 1-800-775-5622. We guarantee that you will receive the maximum tax deduction. We provide fast, free pickup with 24-hour response. Call 1-800-775-5622. Find the Children provides crucial resources to help find missing children and educational materials to teach kids how to recognize and avoid predators. Our recovery programs have a proven track record of reuniting kids with their families. It's time to act. Donate your unwanted or unused car. Help us build a world where every child is safe. Pick up the phone and call 1-800-775-5622. Together, we can bring these kids home safely. This advertisement was paid for by Cars R Us and Find the Children.
Capital Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room with primetime football. It's back. Capital Casino is giving away $500 per game in high hand bonuses for every Sunday, Monday, and Thursday night primetime game. Offering the best food, best service, and the best action with the most variety of games in the region and conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento. For more information, log on to capital-casino.com and please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get year-end pricing during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop for great pricing on our entire selection of new CRVs, HRVs, Ridgeline Civics, and Accords. Plus, with low finance and lease options, now's the time to buy. Hurry in and save during Happy Honda Days at Folsom Lake Honda, or go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Folsom Lake Honda. Yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
There are many things to love about winter. Cozy sweaters, celebrations, and family time. But winter can also bring many stressors, extra expenses, seasonal bugs, and so much family time. If you and your loved ones are feeling stressed or anxious this winter, Cal Hope can help. Check out our free mental health resource at calhope.org today.
This is Kenny and Jerry from Bell Brothers Plumbing, Heating, and Air. If you're thinking about replacing your heating and cooling system, now's the perfect time to take action.
It's Bell Brothers' end of the year blowout, and it's happening now. We've got a limited number of high-efficiency furnace, AC, and heat pump systems in our warehouse.
And we're offering $2,750 off qualifying systems if you buy between now and the end of the year.
No gimmicks, no games, just a great price for buying now. If you got a quote elsewhere, we'd be happy to give you a second opinion.
This is one of our best discounts of the year, but you have to hurry. When the systems are gone, the sale is over.
Call Bell Brothers for details and get up to $2,750 off any qualifying high-efficiency furnace, AC, or heat pump system.
Our number is 916-444-1234 or online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, KHTK-AM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the only station in Sacramento giving you local sports coverage from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Sacktown Sports. Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. We are joined by I know he's wearing a Brock Purdy jersey, but he's really the Christian McCaffrey of the station, Nate Littlefield. Really just a Swiss Army knife.
I'm
He can do it all. Producer, host. I went to a game
Digital.
a couple weeks ago. Nate's taking photos, doing video, making promo vids. Nate Littlefield joins us. Nate Littlefield, thank you for joining the program.
Hey, are you guys hearing that back feed or whatever? Is that coming through at all?
I'm not hearing
Okay, good. Then we're good. Then I'm ready to party.
I was just
sorry. Yeah, I was just trying to hear out for it. I don't hear anything. No,
Good. That's great.
You're good.
Because I set up a camera in here, and I want to make sure it's my phone. It's on the StreamYard. Because it'd be weird if we did 15 minutes without a camera.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so
look at that, adding to the
just
Swiss
adding.
Army
You know,
knife.
he just never stops. So it seems like the Niners just don't stop, Nate. And I want to just get to this. Obviously, I don't even know what the real takeaways are from Niners Cardinals. I think the Niners let up a couple more points than they normally do, but I don't think
It's the
anybody
rushing yards too.
The rushing yards. We'll get into that as we get closer to discussing the Ravens, because that will be their next test. So maybe you just answer this question before we even get to it. What worries you about this team besides injury?
Nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, what? It's injury. I was having a mini panic when Brock gets hit in the face yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
No,
It was silence in the Littlefield living room. It was really scary and uncomfortable. I did not like that.
Yeah, you weren't a fan of those, the minute Sam Darnold experience there?
No, not at all.
Little PTSD from last year?
Dude,
Yeah.
he looks it was 2 throws, right? It's only going to show up as 1 on the box score. Because the second was a penalty, I believe illegal touching, but it was actually a very helpful penalty because I think they were throwing on 3rd and 8 or something.
Yeah.
And it pushed him right. You gave him the first down, 1st and 5. But Sam, man, he kind of joked about it in the pre-show. Kyle brought Sam in and just was like, okay, go out and rip it, go out and throw immediately. And it was not impressive.
No,
it was not impressive. And I was worried, and I'm like, I don't want to be like, oh, I hope it's just a concussion, because that's horrible.
No,
but know with a concussion, that'll be a second of the year that we know about.
That's a good point.
And he'll be back in a week.
Did they ever say if it was his head or if it was
No.
his shoulder?
So left shoulder stinger.
Yeah,
is all it was.
That's more what it seemed.
But I hear shoulder, and I'm like, dude,
right.
But luckily it's his left shoulder. You know, he came back through 3 more touchdowns, at least 2, and you know, he's all good. That's our MVP.
That's what I keep hearing. That's what I keep hearing. Nate, what are you hoping to get out of this Ravens game now? Because, you know, we've been talking about it for a while, and, you know, of course the Niners winning out would be beneficial for them, just trying to lock down that 1 seed. But, you know, is there any, you know, when we talked about the Eagles game, that was definitely a statement game that it felt like the Niners needed to win to get over some, you know, psychological barrier, if that even existed. Like, what are you even really hoping to get out of this Ravens game? Like, does a win really impact how you view this team, or is this kind of, in a weird way, just playing with house money?
No, this is a super important win, I think. I really think this matters a lot. They get that extra day. I will add real quick, the Ravens are a great run team, right? Like, that's kind of their bread and butter. The Niners were missing Javon Hargrave and Eric Armstead,
right,
and Oren Burks for that. So those are key, especially Eric Armstead in the run defense. I think they gave up 236 rushing yards to the Niners, or to the Cardinals. That's horrible.
It's not great, especially James Conner.
That's not a good preview, but you hope those guys are healthy. I think them being healthy is absolute game changer, like we were just talking about injuries. But this game as a whole is very important, especially with the 1 seed being up in the air. You watch Dallas blow it against the Bills, which was pretty on brand for them, I'd say.
Yeah.
You know, they win those 2 tough games. They help the Niners get into the 1 seed, and then they, you know, blow it against the Bills in Buffalo. Like, it wasn't even a game.
Didn't even show up.
No, it wasn't even a game. So it's one thing to lose. It's another thing just to go on the road and not do anything, because you have to be competitive this time of year on the road. Doesn't matter where you are. But this is a huge litmus test for the 49ers on Christmas Day against Baltimore. Baltimore, arguably, like, would you guys say Baltimore is the best team in the AFC?
I think right now, for sure.
Yeah,
Scariest team.
Yeah, and they're still not great.
No.
Like, they're good, but some plays last night were kind of prayers. Like, Lamar's throwing up, and he's going to sneak around. He's going to get those 15 to 20-yard scrambles that are just insane. And you have to live with that. You have to beat them everywhere else. And I think this healthy Niner defense definitely can and probably will.
Nate, I just want to ask you straight up.
Okay.
Our guy, David Lombardi, asked the question yesterday, and it's going a bit viral because, of course, it would. And the question is, I'm trying to see his exact words because I don't want to misquote. But basically, here you go. This is the quote. Is Brock Purdy the best QB in the NFL? It's a fair question. Discuss.
Okay, maybe that's a fair question. It's like the context is everything. I guess he left it vague on purpose, right? Are you asking what I think about the question, or do I think Brock's the best quarterback right now?
Both.
I don't love the question because it's context dependent. Of course, it's like Mahomes is playing with trash right now.
Yes.
Like, Kadarius Toney is so bad.
He is really bad.
You put Mahomes on this team. If you put Mahomes on the San Francisco 49ers right now,
it's pretty good.
That is one of the greatest teams to ever play football.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's because of what he's done and what he's proven.
Definitely.
Brock, it's too early. Just because you're first in MVP doesn't mean you're the best quarterback in the league. Look at Lamar Jackson's year.
Thank you. I was thinking that same thing. This is the first time it's been, well, since he's MVP, he's got to be the best. It's never been like that.
No, it has. I mean, the equivalent, you guys have mentioned it before, like LeBron in the NBA. It's like he should win it every year, probably.
Yeah.
Right.
He doesn't.
I don't think anyone ever said Matt Ryan, best quarterback in the NFL.
No, he just had crazy stats.
Yep.
And that's honestly so equivalent to this year because of Shanahan, right?
Yep.
And it's working because everyone's working. It's working because the coaching's great. It's working because Brock is great. Like, I don't have any doubt in my mind. Like, he's very good. It's been enough now to where I know he's very good. Could he fall off a cliff one day? Sure, definitely. Could, injury derail that? As I knock on wood in here, sure. But right now he's playing in the NFL like a top 5 quarterback. I mean, it's just plain and simple. I think.
Yeah.
I think just statistically, just the way he gets the ball in the right place. He's rolling out to his right yesterday, hitting McCaffrey. I know McCaffrey's wide open, but it's like he's still making these throws. He's getting.
Do you think Jimmy G makes that throw?
No, Jimmy can't
Jimmy
move like
overthrows that fool by a solid 5 to 10 yards.
Yeah. No, he doesn't.
That's for everybody who's like, oh, he's open. Anybody can open receivers. Well, we kind of just saw for the past 2.5 years, not everybody can hit wide open receivers.
No. Well, I think
Micah Parsons.
Well, I think that it becomes the level, and I have basically 2 things here. It becomes a question of who is that level, right? Earlier on, and I think he's since kind of not apologized, but said, okay, maybe not. When Dan Orlovsky said Mac Jones would look like this.
Right.
So when people say, if you put who is the worst quarterback, who is the worst starting quarterback in the NFL that we believe would have the same record as Brock Purdy if they were quarterback in the Niners? That's the question, because everybody wants to say, you know what I'm saying? Because obviously you're going to go
this
Mahomes.
Is such a crazy hypothetical, but yeah.
But
it's
if people are going to continue to say
I would
that
look at
anybody can
Derek
do
Carr.
it.
I would look at the 7-7 teams. That's where I would go. I would look at like Stafford. I would look at, even
Stafford, definitely.
Baker Mayfield, the way he's playing
I
this
think
year.
Baker is where you will get people saying, heck no.
Yeah,
and
he's too risky.
I don't know, man. Look at Baker Mayfield.
I think
the
he's
risk.
good.
Yeah, the turnovers
It's
is where
the turnovers is a killer for Kyle Shanahan's off. It's like not blocking as a receiver.
He
hates it.
Russell
Beamer,
Wilson.
Beams, or Beamley says Derek Carr. I would have agreed with that before this season.
Nah.
Derek Carr has looked awful. He's got
He's also
weapons.
injured, but he's always injured.
Yeah.
So
I can't. Yeah, I would. And Beamer is saying no Baker. I would say I would trust Baker before Derek Carr after this season.
Yeah, I would.
After this season. The way I look at the MVP,
Baker's cooking, y'all.
He is.
I don't know if y'all.
The way I look at the MVP is, and I'm going to take it to baseball. I look at the MVP like a baseball lineup, right? So traditionally, your 3-hitter is your best hitter, right? So if you were to ask a coach who is the best hitter on your team, and that season your 3-hitter hit 270 and your 6-hitter hit 330, right, and had a better statistical year than your 3-hitter, and you ask the coach who's the best hitter on your team, the coach would say it's our 3-hitter, but our 6-hitter had the best season and performed the best. And if you ask that coach to get in more in depth, right, well, by the way, that 3-hitter has less protection, right, is not getting as many fastballs, right? Everybody has their eyes on the 3-hitter.
Everyone's giving him the best look.
Exactly. And to me, that's the equivalent of, because of Mahomes' paycheck or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. You are dealing with Kadarius Toney, okay, Sky Moore, and Rashee Rice, who has been. Is he good, or did Mahomes make him good? I don't know.
Yes.
I mean, that's I thought that about Devontae Adams for forever too. I was like, oh, this guy's only good because Aaron Rodgers. I thought that for too long, probably 2 seasons too long.
Right.
Yeah.
I was not giving him the respect. But then you realize, okay, Devontae Adams is elite. He is top 3 guys. So that's a chicken before the egg kind of thing.
Right.
I feel like it's really hard to figure that out.
And these questions are going to get answered because Brock is going to get paid at some point. Right?
Yes, he will.
100%.
He definitely will.
Got to get to a break. Thank you to Nate Littlefield for
glad to
rocking
be
with
here,
us.
guys.
Nate,
Thanks,
you
Nate.
can join us as a producer here this
Friend of
next
the
go
show.
round, and we can have some more Niners convo as we get into our dog segment at 1:30. But another segment of Niners convo in the AFC. Who should the Niners be worried about? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
In this market, you'll find Fisher Investments is different than other money managers.
Different how?
Aren't we all just looking for the hottest stocks?
Nope. We use diversified strategies to position our clients' portfolios for their long-term goals.
You don't just provide cookie cutter portfolios?
No, we tailor our clients' portfolios to their goals and needs.
But you still sell investments that generate high commissions for you, right?
No, we don't sell commission-based products. We're a fiduciary, the highest standard of care for a financial advisor. It means we're obligated to act in our clients' best interest.
So when do you make more money? Only when your clients make more money?
Yep, we have one transparent management fee structured so we do better when our clients do better.
Sounds like you really look out for your clients.
We do, because our priority is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement. That might be why most of our clients come from other money managers. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m., talking some Niners with our own Nate Littlefield and, of course, Chris Watkins. Thank you for listening. If you've been listening, if you're just now joining us, thank you for joining us. Got 45 more minutes until the drive, guys. And they will take you up to game time as the Kings take on the Wizards. And, yeah, so thank you, Nate. You know, I had to get going, and I had some things to say about the MVP conversation because I do think it's interesting. And there is really no way to say, okay, Brock is the best now. That's what sports talk is, right?
It's week to week.
There's
right?
numbers, right? There's numbers. There's the eye test. There's everything. And ultimately,
they really don't want to give it to Brock either. It's crazy. It's like every week it's like somebody else has to get thrown. Like now Lamar Jackson's entered into the MVP conversation.
They have to make it look interesting, right?
Yeah, but is it different? Is this different than any other? So now Lamar, but that's what's crazy though, because now Brock is minus 175. Lamar is plus 450. So Lamar moved up, but Brock moved up. There's nobody close to Brock.
Dak kind of stayed stagnant, didn't he? Isn't he like plus 150?
No, Dak's plus 500 now.
I was like, it feels like that ship has sailed.
Yeah, Jalen's at plus 1,000.
Isn't that crazy?
Actually,
one game.
Josh Allen is ahead of Jalen now.
That alone should show that MVP is not the best quarterback. Like they can't have one bad game.
Yeah,
right. That's insane.
It's like the BCS in college.
Yeah. What happens if Brock has a bad game here?
He's not.
Like if he has a bad week, what if this week? What if this week he's got 175 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick?
Could he flip that much to where they lose to Lamar? You have to lose.
Lamar has to throw like 3 touchdowns and rush for 1, and then Brock has to have like a 2 interception, no touchdown game. Basically, Dak's game only.
I again think that they just don't want to give it to him, and I think if he has an okay game, but the Niners lose, or if he just has an off week, I think they're looking for anybody else to give it to at this point.
I was in that camp, but I've since moved since the odds have changed. Yeah. So
he's making it hard. He's making it hard on everybody to not vote for him at this point. Everyone keeps falling out.
It's the Ravens have the Niners, and then they have the Dolphins, and then they have the Steelers.
See, you can make some statements there.
That's one way to look at it. Or you're probably
some time to fumble.
That Steelers game is not going over. The over is not going over 20.
No way.
That's going to be a terrible game.
Yeah, that's going to be horrible.
Is it in Pittsburgh?
It's in Baltimore.
Okay.
Same difference.
Those games are always a bloodbath too.
That's what I'm saying. Same difference.
It's going to be
Dolphins. They would probably have Tyreek back. That's December 31st. So I think Brock is going to win it. And I want to know what Niner fans are going to do when they don't have anything to complain about anymore.
It's going to be tough. I mean, yeah.
They'll find something.
Is it also like, I mean, we see this sometimes, especially with the MVP, there's that conversation, which I think Patrick Mahomes broke it, but there was no MVP had won the Super Bowl in like forever. Does Brock winning the MVP, the expectations now are firm at that point? If you're the MVP, there's a certain standard that you have to be reaching. Like not that that pressure hasn't already been there on Brock, but like, does that trophy, what that symbolizes, does that change how conversations are like, does that change just
if you're Brock's agent,
importance of, like sometimes, egos. I'm not saying Brock has an ego, especially not at this point. I think they're so singularly focused on the Super Bowl this year, but Brock wins the MVP. All right, next year season, like, can we go into next season if Brock's the MVP this year and not have next season be a little bit more about a Brock, the ball's now really in your court because you won an MVP. We have to pay you at some point. We got to make sure that you're actually to that quality. Like, does winning MVP maybe make life way harder for Brock Purdy?
Well, this is what's going to happen. I was double checking. I was doing some reading this morning, and Brock can't get extended until after, I believe, next season. So this is the first of the two that we all thought was the window for the Niners to at least get one Lombardi while you're not paying Brock. So what's going to happen is, okay, maybe you win the whole thing this season. Either way, he's going to get MVP, even if you don't win it.
Right.
So you have an MVP winning quarterback, and then that next season, let's see what happens. I was also reading about the Shanahan offense and why it always seems like somebody is open. Part of that is Brock.
I
right?
got to add too, next year they're going to have almost 40 million in cap space or some ridiculous amount, like 35 million. So they could still add next year with Brock on that minimum deal.
Exactly. And you have to have conversations about IU.
Yeah.
What a broken team. That's just insane.
I know.
Yeah.
And
How
so,
could you have so much talent
like,
and still
they
have
could-
so much money?
it could honestly draw similarities to the Warriors, except for they win this year and then they bring in whoever that, like, whatever freak player wants to come play here.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
I mean, I know people love George Kittle, but I would start looking for, I know they tried Cam Latu and it didn't work out.
Sure
Maybe
did.
you just get
He's
somebody.
still on the roster.
He's still on the
Latu.
roster,
Yeah.
but if you
They
want to
should-
start grooming that next
Yeah.
tight end, it's probably time for that.
I was watching Njoku yesterday, thinking about how good he would be in the Shanahan offense. I know he's
Man.
older, but I was just thinking, like,
Yeah.
this guy would be perfect.
But then you have tight ends are confusing to me because it feels like you can find them, but also it's hard because it feels like the Cowboys for years they had Jason Witten, right? They had Dalton Schultz. They let Dalton Schultz walk. Now they got Ferguson, right? So maybe it's just offenses and how offenses work,
Sure.
but I feel like certain teams just stay strapped with a good tight end that can catch.
That's a kind of an anomaly, though. Like the Ravens have never had a good tight end until now.
Mark Andrews, and now likely looks good.
Yeah, okay,
Todd
yeah.
Heap was the GOAT.
The Niners, I think, hit pretty hard in the Harbaugh area when they had Vernon Davis and Delaney Walker on that
Sure.
same team. I mean, you get that tight end, you usually rock with them forever. Like that's kind of the case, right?
Yeah. And now you have George Kittle who's played well. But I think this is what happens. I think you get at least one Lombardi. I think they're going to win this year. I think Chris and I are going to be in Vegas, and I'm going to be annoying Chris, texting him, hey, we need to go to the buffet, and Chris isn't going to respond. I'm just gonna knock on his door.
Kyle Juszczyk's going to catch that game winner. It's going to be awesome.
I can't wait for that. That's what I honestly hope. And you have that happen. You have the next season. Then when it's time, honestly, I think how this goes, guys, is you're going to have Brock walk in, and he's going to walk in with his agent, much to his agent's chagrin. His agent's going to say, dude, you're an MVP, you're a Super Bowl MVP. Brock is going to say, Brock's parents, they sell hot tubs
in Arizona.
So I don't know Brock's background, but it feels like they weren't struggling.
Sure.
All right. It feels like they've been doing okay.
Kind of already hot in Arizona.
You got to, but it's air conditioned.
That's a good point.
So, but I think they're doing all right. I think Brock is going to walk in there and say, what is the most you can give me, which allows us to keep everything together.
Yeah.
And I think he goes the Tom Brady route, and you never hear about Brock's contract breaking any records, but Brock keeps his weapons. Everybody stays happy, and this thing just keeps on rolling. That's what I think.
Endorsements too are going to be like you were talking
He's
about.
gonna-
the
he's
Adidas
gonna have the
commercial.
movie.
He's already got the Toyota thing, and so I think those are just like this summer is going to be the summer of film production for Brock Purdy, and then all next year is going to be.
Yep. And I don't think it's going to, Disney Plus. I think it's going to theaters. Next Christmas is going to do well. We have Beamley on the Sack Chat saying, could Kenny Pickett take this roster to the number one seed?
No.
I think that's below the line.
Yeah, I would say that's below the line.
I think if we're looking at the line, there's Herbert, Trevor, all the top fives. Trevor, and I would put Trevor Lawrence there, even though he's looked a little bit shaky.
I'm going to say Josh Allen's amazing.
Here's a good one.
Stop it.
Stop. Are you serious?
Turnover. I'm not a Josh Allen fan.
Here's a good one. I think
help.
here's a good one. I know we're up against it. Here's a good one. Geno Smith.
Hate him.
I don't think so. I think Geno's on the left side of game manager, if you will, where it's like he feels like he's a little bit too far. Like last year's Geno is not the Geno I think that is Geno, if that makes sense.
Keep the names coming. We got to get to a break. When we get back, we get the dog segment, and we will quickly talk about the AFC. Are they starting to turn it around? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
With RT Painting, our name says it all. We are a reliable and trusted commercial and residential painting company serving the Sacramento area since 1998. Employee-owned, our attention to detail is second to none. Put our decades of experience serving our community to use for you. Get a free quote today. Call us at 916-900-8112. That's 916-900-8112. Or go online to rtpainting.com. That's rtpainting.com. RT Painting, your trusted and reliable painting contractor of choice.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Whitey here reminding you that not all grills are created equal. Give your family a real treat. Bring out all the flavors of the holidays with the amazing Napoleon Prestige line of outdoor cookers. My Napoleon Stainless Steel Pro Series gas grill is turning me into a pro. Napoleon Grills has features other grills can't match. They're built different, built better, built to last, complete with a lifetime warranty. I may never want to cook indoors again. All made with premium steel that boasts absolute quality. Just go to Napoleon.com for your nearby Napoleon Grills dealer. Napoleon Grills. Now is the time for the best selection of grills and fine accessories for the holidays.
At Jim with Tacos, you get a ho lot of flavor for under $10. Our classic #2 combo meal spreads cheer with a parm-dusted ground beef taco, scratch-made bean and cheese burrito, and a soft drink. So jingle on down to Jim Boys or order online at participating locations.
It's Credit Christmas at Prestigio Jewelers. Get the gifts you want this year. Prestigio guarantees your credit up to $10,000. It's easy. Have a valid ID, proof of income, and be 18 or older. Prestigio has competitive pricing on all jewelry such as gold chains, wedding sets, diamond earrings, and designer brands like Cartier, Gucci, Bulova, and Citizen. Rebuild your credit, even with a repo or a bankruptcy at Prestigio Jewelers. This Christmas, come for the credit and be amazed by the selection at Prestigio Jewelers. Online at prestigiojewelers.com.
Subcontractors, grow your business with more leads and leverage your marketing costs to receive over 10 times the value in advertising. Subcontractors United is offering 40 home services contractors to join our advertising co-op. For under $2,100 a month, you'll share in over $83,000 a month in advertising. That's $1 million a year in advertising for under $2,100 a month. There's only 3 subcontractors per category, not 3,000. So lead potential is unlimited. Google Subcontractors United for more information.
Guys, want to lose weight, improve your performance, and increase your drive? Revive Men's Health can help you make it happen with our new cutting-edge weight loss medications like your favorite athletes and celebrities use. They're affordable and available now. And since your testosterone level has a direct impact on your weight and fitness, get a free T-check and free exam. Book your appointment today at Revive Sacramento. We know we can help you. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. On your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
Right now, the sewer system is probably the last thing on your mind. And that's okay, because at the Sacramento Area Sewer District, it's our first priority. If you have a sewer problem like a slow drain or a backup, call us first, day or night.
Live and local. Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m.
Oh, man.
Thank you to Lake Littlefield for just everything you do.
Thank you.
In your Brock Purdy jersey. And, you know, Nate, I just want to say that I do think that you are one of the realistic fans in the universe.
Thanks.
And
Nate, I don't care what
ton-
people say. You're pretty cool.
Yeah, dude. Well, I appreciate that because people do say things. People around this building say things, okay? And I'm over it. I appreciate that, Chris.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Good.
That's always my favorite when people are like, I don't care what everybody says. You're actually like not that bad.
No.
You know what? You kind of surprised me today.
No.
You kind of surprised me today and how you were
Good.
going about
What you
your
said was
business.
actually really smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually really
You're
smart.
actually
always,
smart.
Yeah, that's
Thanks, man.
It's a shady insult.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's also a good one to keep in your back pocket to drop on somebody.
Right.
That's right.
Too. Like if you want to hurt someone.
Yeah.
Before we get to the dog segment, the AFC, you have the Ravens and the Bills and the Dolphins. Does it feel like we know the Chiefs are there, but does it feel like as much as, I mean, heck, even the Browns with Joe Flacco look like they can
Mr.
mess around
Elite?
and beat somebody. Does it feel like the AFC might be turning it around? I know earlier on we thought AFC was way stronger. A bunch of injuries happened. Then it felt not even that the NFC was stronger, that it's just a weak season in general. Does it feel like the AFC is starting to get their stuff together?
Yeah, I think it kind of depends on how you want to view it. Like, I think the fact that everybody has seemingly caught up with the Chiefs, I think is a positive, because it was definitely seeming like it was about to be Chiefs, Bills, or Bengals for the next 10 to 15 years, and they just kind of cycle through that. So the fact that you have the Dolphins who are competitive, you got the Ravens who, you know, they're always been really, really competitive. So I think that it's good that they've caught up. But, you know, if we're talking, you know, like where to me, it's the Niners kind of feel like the only great team in football right now. And I'm not just saying that because, you know, we're the flagship here or anything like that. It feels like the Niners are truly the only team that can classify themselves as, you take this team in any year and they're going to be one of the best teams, if not the best in the NFL. And everybody else, whether it be because of injuries or, you know, in a case like the Chiefs, they're just not built all the way correctly. It just kind of feels like everybody else is good with, you know, capabilities of having great weeks like the Buffalo Bills did last week, but nobody really is able to put it week to week to week to week and just consistently look the same and do it in a similar fashion the way that the Niners have. Like, the Niners have been very just calculated in how, I mean, what, they've scored over 30 in every win this year or something like that. It's been this, like, much like what we were talking about with Keegan Murray and his 47, how the Niners win is how they win every single week. And so it feels real. There's a lot of teams out there that, you know, the Eagles are winning dirty every week, or, you know, the Lions have had 2 terrible games against the Bears for whatever reason. The Dolphins, even now, we're still wondering, okay, what do you guys look like in bad weather or actually against a quality opponent? There's so many teams that just have real legitimate questions. And with the Niners, besides injury, like we asked Nate, like it's pretty much injuries, and that's the only thing that can derail these guys from being head and shoulders the best team in the NFL.
Battle of the frauds on Christmas.
Oh, yeah, I
Eve.
saw that.
Cowboys at Dolphins.
Yeah.
Dolphins, a bit of
Fraud
a rough
alert.
stretch to end the season.
Who's
Dolphins,
the bigger fraud between those two?
I think we're going to find out.
I think it's Dallas, but I'm
think
biased.
I think it is Dallas because they just don't show up.
Yeah.
They just did not show up.
Yeah, I mean, they
there
got killed by the Niners.
That was
What,
so
one
bad.
game Miami didn't really show up against Buffalo.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that it?
yeah, and I think the Dolphins still, it's like, all right, you've got Tyreek Hill, you've got that deep ball, you've got, I mean, Mostert, has 19 touchdowns or something this year? It just feels like they're too reliant on explosives. And how much can you rely every single week, especially in the playoffs when, like, everybody's so meticulous, so tight? Like, I'm triple teaming Tyreek Hill in the playoffs. Like, I don't care. Like, it's a one game. You're going all the way to the wall. Like, you got to throw the kitchen sink out there. I'm not losing a playoff game because Tyreek Hill has 250 yards.
Right,
receiving.
and Waddle is a good secondary receiver, but
Make Tua beat you.
I don't know. I still don't trust.
Gesicki too is pretty. I mean,
I still don't trust Waddle. Every time it feels like he gets going, he gets nicked up or injured in some way. So the Dolphins lost to the Eagles in a game where a lot of people thought that this was back when everybody thought the NFL was trying to rig the league for the Eagles. So they lost that game.
Yeah.
They lost to the Chiefs, 14-21.
Yeah.
So some of their losses, and they barely lost. They lost by 1 point to the Titans. So the Titans are just one of those annoying teams. So
yeah, but like think about the teams you just said they lost to. Like that's why they have questions. If you beat up on the Chargers, the Patriots, the Broncos, the Giants, the Panthers, the Patriots again, the Raiders, the Jets, the Commanders, and then the Jets, but you lose to the Bills, the Chiefs, and the Eagles, like what's that tell you? That tells you that you can beat up on teams that aren't good, but the only real competition you face, you've lost to.
That's the Cowboys too. But and then the Cowboys, they beat the Eagles in the middle of their gauntlet.
That's at least the saving grace. Like
right.
I mean, but to both of your guys' points, the Cowboys have gotten just absolutely destroyed.
They're like the Kings.
Yeah,
they just don't get off the plane.
If you're not gonna it's the would you rather lose to the Chiefs by 3 and still lose, or would you just not, which one is worse, just getting completely blown out? It's still an L either way, but the fact that the Cowboys just completely no-show, I could see how that would be a little bit more like, okay, well, maybe you guys are not quite that elite.
Yeah, all guests and callers join us from the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. And texters, by the way, this is from the 916. From an earlier question, I think local area product, Jake Browning, get the sounding ready. Get the sounding ready, Nate. Jake Browning could step into Purdy's spot.
Oh, my gosh.
And keep the team rolling.
Guys,
he's shown great accuracy and poise thus far. Let's hear it. Should have never cut me. He could be Brock Purdy, guys, says the 916. Let's get into the dog segment.
Did anybody watch that game? Because I love Jake Browning. He throws great over the middle, but guys, his deep ball is up for look at that pass to T. Higgins, y'all. That T. Higgins made the play of the century. Oh my goodness, I don't know.
Jake
about that.
Browning,
I'm sorry, I love Jake.
Would be an MVP front runner.
Oh boy,
if he was on the Niners right now.
You know what? You're right. Sure, why not?
I can't even say it as a joke.
Dog segment brought to you by whoever you'd like it to be. Please contact Nate and or Scott Marsh to be a
Sweet
part
drinks.
of our sponsorship. If you want to sponsor our dog segment, I'll kick things off because I'm feeling real spicy today. And I rode for him. We got to hopefully get some information on De'Aaron.
De'Aaron did participate in shoot around, by the way.
De'Aaron did participate.
Did anyone call Keegan in the last? I wasn't here.
I think it was me.
Okay.
I said Harrison. I know I said Harrison.
Well, there you go. You know what? I'm going back, and I feel like this is a safe situation. I know I said I was going to leave him, but I'm coming back.
This guy's crazy.
What is wrong with you, dude?
Why?
Because this is like the
not?
6th time.
No, you can. No, do it. Because you're going to be right eventually.
The problem is you say, I'm never taking it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
You know what? I'm doing it. Kevin Herter is my dog.
I'm not leaving.
Tonight.
Yes.
We're not picking nobody else until I hit with Kevin Herter. He's my dog for tonight.
I'm starting to think that this is almost like a reverse psychology, and you're picking him because you want him to struggle.
No.
De'Aaron, by the way, Jason Anderson is putting out there. De'Aaron was a full participant in shoot around today. Still no word yet on what that means for his game status, but remaining questionable, even though going through shoot around.
That's
tons.
not good.
No, not great.
Well, and look, not to be disrespectful,
bad,
but
yeah.
You're playing the Wizards. You have a gauntlet coming up.
Yeah.
We know where this should go.
Yeah.
The line has moved for the Kings by 1.5 too. This morning, favored by 12. Now they're favored by 13.5.
Interesting. It could have something to do with the Wizards injury report. Johnny Davis out, Danilo Gallinari out, Landry Shamet out, DeLon Wright out. That's a lot of names.
DeLon Wright, ex-King.
Ex-King. Yeah, a lot of people still want DeLon Wright.
Chris, who you got?
I mean, come on. After dropping 47, I can't not go back to the well. I mean, it's the water is flowing from the ground right now with Keegan Murray. I've got to go back to it. We're going to go Keegan Murray tonight. While he's guarding Kyle Kuzma, too. I'm going to say, Whitey's been trying to work with us on how to get like an official dog stat so that we have some sort of semblance of like what is a dog-like performance. The fact that Keegan's going to score 20-plus tonight and hold Kyle Kuzma under 25, I'm going to say Keegan Murray has himself a dog performance.
Wow, double down dog.
Yes.
Nate?
Man, I'm rocking with my guy who last guy I picked went off, lit the beam that night.
Sure did.
He's playing for a contract. He's got a lot on the line here. Only 51 more games, right? Is that correct?
He can play up to 51 games. I'm not sure what he's sitting at.
So
right
he's
now.
probably played 15 or something.
That feels right.
Anyways, he's playing for a contract. He wants to be a full-time NBA guy. Yep. Keon Ellis.
Wow, a lot of double downs out here.
Even if Fox plays, I'm still rocking with Keon. So
I like it.
916-339-1140. Let's get out to our guy, Steven. Wants to be a part of the conversation. Steven, who's your dog?
Who is my dog? Can I talk about my dog from Friday, though? And how it was Keegan Murray? Can I get a Keegan?
There you go.
Murray? Thank you. I know I didn't shout it because I'm at work still. Yeah. You know what, though? I'm going to run it back. Keegan Murray again tonight. Let's run it.
Run it back.
Let's run it.
Right back.
Hey, Nate, can you do me a favor? Can I get that DMX? Can I get that DMX? Please.
I don't have it on hand.
Simone has do the dog bark.
This is the issue.
Right. Hey, thank you, man. Appreciate you, boys.
There you go. I got you.
There we go. Thank you.
I got you, Steven.
Good stuff, Steven.
Nice.
Who else do we have on here?
Every time that drops.
There you go.
Almost.
Scooter916 on the Sack Chat says Keon Ellis. Manny Too Legit says Domas or Monk. Manny, you got to pick one. Manny. No, you don't. You can have two. All right, got to get to a break. When we get back, more Kings, more Niners.
And Allen's no-hitter story?
Oh, I cannot wait for this, dude. I'm so excited.
Come on.
Here
You've been
we go.
waiting all day for this.
Stiles and Watkins and maybe a story. Sacktown Sports.
Light the beam! Light it! Last season, the Sacramento Kings gave us a little bit of everything. A Pacific Division type, GM of the Year, Coach of the Year, Clutch Player of the Year, All-Stars and All-NBA performers. Plus, we got to light the beam.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
What does this season have in store? Find out. Each and every Sacramento Kings game can be heard right here on your proud home of the Beam Team, Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Hey, DC comic movie fans, the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento is playing Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, the IMAX experience, for a limited time.
I'm gonna murder his family and burn his kingdom to ash.
Experience this year's superhero film of the year on the Esquire IMAX 6-story screen. Getting tickets is easy. Visit IMAX.com/Sacramento for showtimes and reserved seating. And don't miss Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom at the Esquire IMAX Theater this week.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Seth Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is, live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Seth Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sepp's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
This holiday season, visit Boot Barn for top quality gifts that pay tribute to the lasting heritage of the West. From handcrafted cowboy boots and American-made felt hats to hand-stitched leather jackets, our in-store experts will help guide you as you shop, assisting with boot fitting and providing complimentary hat shaping. This holiday, share a piece of the American spirit. Boot Barn. Unwrap the West.
Capital Casino, conveniently located on 411th North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave asking you, are you feeling the pain of paying more and more for your gas? PG&E has increased their rates 4 times in the last 5 years, and the new forecast says PG&E customers may see their bills increase 32% by 2026. The good thing is there are steps you can take to protect yourself from these rate hikes, and better yet, American Energy may be able to help you completely eliminate your gas bill with a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. Did you know SMUD offers huge rebates to eliminate your old gas guzzler. They can help you guide through the whole process. Seriously, listen to me. You go to the SMUD website. There's tons of rebates available, but it is confusing on how to do it. Listen to these rebates. $2,500 from American Energy, $3,500 from SMUD, $1,000 from Caltech, $2,000 home system upgrades. That's $9,000 in rebates. Let American Energy help you out at 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Kevin Lewis of National Garage Door. Whether you need to repair a broken spring, install a new opener, or buy a quality Rainer door, National Garage Door is here for you. Call us today to see how we can transform your house with a new garage door.
638-4554 National Garage Door.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking up to 2 p.m. The Drive Guys coming up here next. You're not going to want to miss that.
On location.
On location, Whitey Gleason and Kyle Draper. All right, fine. I'll do it.
It's time. Come on.
It's really not that crazy of a story.
Well, you sold it as one.
I really did it.
Everybody huddle around your radios. Alan's got a story to tell.
No. What I said, who asked me? Nate?
I did.
You asked me, have I ever been a part of a no-hitter?
Yeah. Yeah, because they asked Keegan, for context, they asked Keegan, or Sean Cunningham of Fox 40 asked Keegan after his game, like, when you're hot like that, is it like a no-hitter? Do you want, no one to bother you? Do you want to, act like everything's normal so it doesn't seem like you're out of your rhythm or anything? And, it just made me think, like, what was, Alan, college baseball player? I was like, what would Alan do in a no-hitter situation? Yep. And, you're a friendly guy, always trying to keep vibes right. I could just imagine that you would be the type of dude to be like, I'm going to go talk to him because, just trying to, I would talk to him if he had 8 hits allowed. So I'm going to talk to him.
So this is being sold as if it's about me off the field when the issue was what happened on the field.
Oh gosh.
So we are, it was 2 twins. They were both actually pretty nasty. And I believe this was, I have it open here. So this was my senior year. I believe it was my senior year, if I'm doing that math correctly. And
this is in college, I assume.
This is in college. This is at Temple, and we're playing LaSalle. And we get to the 9th inning. And one of the twins, I believe it was the righty. There was a righty and a lefty. They both ended up getting drafted as well.
That seems pretty rare.
Yeah, yeah. So they were both nasty. They both got drafted.
They were on your team. They were on Temple.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I actually have two stories with
Great.
a no-hitter.
We got time.
So that happened. It's in the top of the 9th, and we're at home, and I'm in left field, and the center fielder was like, "Hey, come in a little bit."
Are you guys working on a no-hitter right now?
We're working on a no-hitter.
Okay.
We are
your side.
We are in the night.
You are defending a no-hitter.
Yes, we are. We were 3 outs away, and I have an article open right here. And he moves me. He moves me, and I'm not blaming him.
I'm getting nervous here.
So, and this is from the article. This is from TempleNews.com. Entering the top of the 9th inning, just 3 outs away from a no-hitter, this freshman hit a fly ball that landed just past left fielder Alan Stiles' glove for LaSalle's first hit of the day, a leadoff double. After the double, pitcher remained in the game to record a strikeout, ground out, and fly out to complete his first complete shutout of his collegiate career. And it was one of those, because I'm running back and it's kind of hard to dive backwards.
Sure. Yeah.
And I get into the dugout and I was just, kind of just feel bad about it, and the pitching coach looks at me or kind of mutters under his breath as I'm walking to the dugout, and he goes, at least could have dove for it. And all the pitchers are just judging me and very upset with me. I don't think I could have got it.
So someone told you to come in a little bit. You said center field told you to come in.
He told me to come in, and I did.
Is that from the scouting report, or is
he
just was like,
and I did, and I'm not putting it on him. Yeah. Maybe I could have dove, but that was the closest and I felt really bad about it.
No, you I'm not gonna. You should feel really bad.
He still
but I
got
could definitely
drafted.
imagine,
He still got Atlantic 10 Pitcher of the Week.
Hey,
so that was the one time.
That's tough. That's really tough.
When we could have been part of a no-hitter on the good end. The negative was when I was at this World Series when I was playing semi-pro, and we played Puerto Rico. So these are a lot of guys that had probably been drafted. They were a bit older.
Sure.
Not older, but trying to get back in the league. And this is a conversation for Whitey next time we have Whitey in, because we got down. It was a no-no, and one of our it was a close game, and one of our hitters tried to drag bunt.
Yeah, right.
And I've never seen this. This was when I knew that there are levels to this. The third baseman knew that the hitter was going to beat it out. So the third baseman airmailed it so it would be jotted down as an error and not a hit. It was the most genius thing I had ever seen.
Wow.
We go on to get no hit. Puerto Rico, they were just Team Puerto Rico. We all had different names from the U.S. They were just Team Puerto Rico, and they all run into the mound and start chanting, Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico. So those are my two instances with no-hitters. Both very terrible.
Those are great. Those are fantastic.
Very terrible.
How do you feel about that? How about that? Like, is it respect? Game, respect, game. You tried to, you kind of tried to take their no-hitter game, so it's like their way of keeping it.
I didn't even think to do that. I've never really even thought to do that. You could just see it on his face. He had no intention of throwing that ball towards the glove.
That's crazy,
right? And so he just chucks it.
Shout out him.
And shout out him and shout out Puerto Rico. They got the no-hitter, but I still wake up in hot sweats about that Temple one. Because I just wonder if I didn't move back, would I have got it?
Right. Did you even think about diving, or was it one of those where it's just like,
I don't know. I don't know if I alligator armed it. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I'd imagine you kind of black out for a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I should have. Yeah, I should have just tried to get there to get my glove on it, so I could have got an error at least. But then if you dive, typically it's not an error. So that's it. That's the story.
I don't want to say that's all. I mean, someone told you to come in, and it's
and we're talking.
It's unfortunate.
It's so long. It's so long ago in my mind. I can't really remember how close I actually was to it.
Right? Yeah.
As I get older,
right,
it just makes me think, man,
closer and closer to it.
Maybe I could have got it. But, this is pre-Achilles and everything. So,
were you ever a part? I mean, you played. I assume, like you said, you played semi-pro. You played, I assume, summer ball.
Yeah.
How many no-hitters or perfect games?
Those are the two.
That's it.
Those are the two.
That's the two only.
We got no hit, and then I did not help to, because there's always one really. They should have cut me after that. That pitching coach wanted to cut me. He wanted to cut me. Nate, did you hear the story? You were asking for it.
I did. Yeah, I had some stuff going on here, but I did. I think I like the Puerto Rico chant.
Yeah.
Good takeaway.
Good takeaway.
No, it sucks, but it's,
it happens. It happens.
Would never happen to Purdy.
Is that a shot at me, or what is
You're just
that?
wearing a Purdy jersey.
Yeah, I know. I guess that was a mistake.
No. I saw something when it was talking about schemes, and when I was reading about Shanahan, and it said basically the way they motion their offense is a run play or a passing play that looks like a run, and really every piece of the machine. Not a play, not per se. I'm saying it's more than that. It's more than that. All right.
Okay.
So basically, Kyle Shanahan needs specific pieces in order for this to work. So when people say, and yes, Brock Purdy said, "Oh, I think Christian McCaffrey is the MVP," and everything like that, I guess my question is, who is the most replaceable piece? Because they named it, said the five, right? That the five pieces that Kyle Shanahan needs: the quarterback, Kyle Juszczyk, Kittle, Debo, and Ayuk. Right?
I don't think we know that yet.
And Christian McCaffrey. So I guess take out Purdy. So it'd be Christian McCaffrey.
Like, who's the most replaceable?
I guess it'd have to be Ayuk, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would say so. How about those drops by Ayuk yesterday, by the way? Like that deep ball was not great. Not great. I mean, it's cut him. He's trash, but it's just
Yeah,
Was
I mean, it happens. He's kind of
known for it as more.
Yeah, he's had a couple. So, just to get him out of the way now.
By the way, I'm looking here. Seahawks roster transactions today. They elevated Sean Mannion today to their active roster. So a lot of people wondering if that's a sign that maybe Geno's not going tonight.
Any relation to Nico Mannion?
Was it?
No,
How long has
no.
Sean Mannion been in the league for? Like
a
50
couple years. He's been the Vikings backup like 3 different times now. So
that's what I thought.
Yeah, not great. So we might get Drew Lock and Sean Mannion throwing for the Seahawks tonight.
Or Drew
Well,
Lock.
and I just saw something during the break.
And then Mariota might be playing today
yeah,
too,
they
right?
said
I don't know what's
it was very confusing. And essentially, here you go. This is from Eagles Nation. Jalen Hurts' illness was to the point that it was a legitimate question of whether or not he would even travel to Seattle at all. This is per Rappaport.
He flew on a different plane. I know that.
He ended up traveling separately from the team. He's experiencing weakness and all sorts of flu-like symptoms, but doesn't have the flu.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's faking it. He's scared.
I mean, is that one like do you have if you're the Eagles, you kind of have to win these games, right? Like, I mean, you can't I know they have 2 games left against the Giants, but like if you're still trying to fight for that 1 seed, and you can argue, I mean, after how the Cowboys and the Niners kind of handled them, like maybe they feel like that 1 seed is more important than ever. I don't know. And then last year, we can't forget too, Jalen Hurts got hurt. What was it, the last month of last season? And they looked completely different that last month, so much so people were wondering heading into the playoffs, like, was it all just a lie? Were they a fluke? And I don't know. It's interesting if I don't know how much they're going to put how much stock into this game.
I think it's to the point now where you just hope that you can get into the playoffs and get healthy and get right. But if you are
they're not even leaving.
If you're in Northern California, you're not worried about that because your San Francisco 49ers are still rolling
Cruising.
dirty with Brock Purdy, just like Nate Littlefield says. As we say goodbye, Nate Littlefield does, as well as Chris Watkins and myself, Alan Stiles, and get you ready for Kings Wizards with the Drive guys. Whitey Gleason and Kyle Draper, thank you for listening to Stiles and Watkins. Until tomorrow, secure the bag, light the beam.
The 49ers have secured their playoff berth, and now they chase the NFC's top seed.
Purdy out of the shotgun.